Hi, everybody. Have to close chat. Sorry, give me 2 seconds. It's very classic of me. Hey, wake up, motherfucker. Okay, chat. Okay, 2 seconds. Haven't finished posting. Art. Maybe spell that right. Art. Oh, did it again. Art. Fight. Time. Team C. Foam. Represent. Okay. Oh, ew, you're just fucking disgusting. But I am going to make it bigger. There we go. We did run an ad. There we go. Okay. Posting on Instagram is always a fucking pain in my ass. Because it's the hardest. Um. Whatever. Send that. Fucking. I don't give a shit. 500 cigarettes. I'll be watching that later. Um. No, no. Okay. Got distracted on Twitter, surprising pretty much nobody. Okay. Solid. Did I did. Perfect. Very good. Okay. That's good. Now I have to get on the fucking Artfile website. 'Cause that's the actual trouble at this point. Um, my chapstick is out in the living room. Because I'm really nice to myself. Shut the fuck up. Not that low. Just a little. I don't feel like sitting up. Okay, here we go. Alright, we fucking locked in. We picked our team. We're ready to rock. We just need to um the Artfile website is always super fucking laggy. First thing, so I can't say I'm particularly surprised about this occurring. Um shh, no one fucking cares. Okay. So now we just sit here and wait. Wow, it's taking a long time. I know what I just said, but that doesn't, make me any less impatient. Oh, sweet. Gateway timeout. Okay, never mind. Here it is. Here it is. This is a snapshot of this. Oh, what? They've been going since 2015. Is color versus monochrome for 2015. 2016 was magic versus tech. 2017 was sun versus moon. And then I joined in 2018, which was coffee and tea. I don't fucking remember which one I was. Then it was Dream and Nightmare. I think I skipped that one. Then it was Sugar and Spice. I think I was Sugar, but I don't fucking remember. Then it was Steampunk Cyberpunk. I don't remember if I participated for that one. Bloom and Wither. I also don't remember who I was. And then I was a werewolf last year. I'm Seafoam. I was really spotty. Like, I'd join and then I'd be like, all right, let's fucking get in there, folks. And then I'd like, and I'd flop really hard. Just because our fight's fucking hard, man. Okay. The website, surprising pretty much fucking nobody, is shitting itself. And I really don't feel like doing one of our characters. I yearn for somebody else to tell me what to do. And Art Fight is the perfect time to do that. It's somebody else's fucking character. And they tell me what to do. And I will interpret it in a way that I want to. So they're not telling me too much. I get some creative liberties because they are not here in the room with me watching me draw their characters. So who's the real winner? But the website is down the drain for sure. I guess we've never had an art stream. Well, maybe we have, but I feel like we typically don't have an art stream fall right on July 1st. So I don't think we've ever had this issue. It's always day one where it's super bad. And after everything that we read last year, I get why this is happening, but like it shouldn't be happening. It should be better. All right. I got a notification. Someone's following me. That's great. They are unfortunately on our team, so it doesn't fucking matter. And then I have a subscription, probably from somebody who I follow. Here, I'll let you see it. Now that it's still loading pretty slow, but at least we've logged in. That is step one. It's almost 10 years old. I wonder what they're gonna do for the 10-year anniversary. La 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 la. Whew, she's certainly loading, huh? La la. La 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 la. La 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 la. You want to let me see the subscription so bad. Okay. I guess they didn't actually want to. Hi, how are you? Hope you're good. How was dinner? Oh, yeah. That's July 1st things, if you don't mind my saying. I'm pretty good. Waiting for the Art Fight website to load. You know, pretty classic of me. That's good. Glad you had one of my dinners, so I don't have to fucking do anything with it. Hoping that happens again tomorrow. I'm almost done with. Okay, almost done is a fucking lie. I finished the plant poster that I've been working on at work for a while, And the only thing I have left to do on it is what the hell? Seriously, it's nice to have ready. I was hoping to actually make my food tomorrow. It's a big day tomorrow. Huge day tomorrow. I hope you are able to do that. Um, but the only thing I have left to do on that is on my plant poster bullshit is finish the little cards that she wants alongside the big poster. I don't think she's going to need the little cards, to be honest with you. Because she wants the little cards, they're like plant care cards. So, like, whatever plant that you pick, you get to, like, take a little plant and then fucking take the plant card, care card, or whatever to, know how to take care of the plant. Like, whatever. Um, the, and while that's a fine idea, no one fucking comes into the library. All right, we all have ambitious ideas, right? We all get excited about our job sometimes. But no one's fuck. First of all, we don't even have any of these damn plants, so I don't know why I'm even bothering to get this shit done. I just don't want it on my plant anymore. But I don't even know why I'm bothering getting all of it done. It doesn't fucking matter, cause the plants aren't grown. But whatever. She should have stood. She's got the dirt. I know her ass has the dirt because I was fucking laminating today and there was dirt everywhere. Fucking everywhere, man. On the laminated sheets. I laminated some dirt for good fucking measure. Oh, it's not. It's not Pride Month anymore. Hold on. This is so exciting because that means um it gets to be the seashell. Purposely from shells. Yay! When I did, I landed his dirt. Yeah, we've got an entire like tub of dirt underneath. Um. All right. A lot of our Lolly is normal. This person is purple. Fuck off. This character has been filtered according to my preferences. I don't recall having those preferences. Okay. We have pulled up a couple of people. I'm going to go ahead and click random character or random user. Chat, what do you think? So it doesn't either. It'll give me. I'll still be picky about it. It'll be random, but I'll be like, is this good or no? Random user. Okay. Clean up my bookmarks for you, so there's less to fucking look at. But yeah, she has a giant tub of dirt underneath the sink in the break room thing. I don't know why there's a sink back there, but I don't ask questions. So the the um there's a giant tub of dirt. She's had dirt out. There's seeds for some reason. So honestly, if I went through all the fucking trouble to make that damn poster and she's gonna start using seeds, I'm gonna be pretty pissed off. Because I'm not redoing the poster. I won't tell her that. So inevitably I will make a new poster, but it will take a very, very long time to do. Cause yeah, that makes sense. But that's okay. Um, it's just ah did all that fucking work for nothing. And she sees me with my computer now, so I know she knows that I'm doing the plant poster or whatever. It'll literally take me like maybe an hour and a half tomorrow to finish up the care cards. That is a fucking lie. By the way, it'll absolutely take me more time than that. But don't tell me that. I'm living delusionally for now. I just want to get all my dumbass tasks done. Cause then there's the camera labels for all the cameras and stuff, and all of those are mostly done as well. I've laminated them along with some fucking dirt. I laminated those, and then all that needs to be done is they need to be the barcode needs to be added to the along with some dirt. Um just keeping it honest, just keeping it real. Did these load? Okay. Freaks? I don't know who that is. Imagine fucking caring about I love her to bits, right? But oh my god, imagine doing all this. I never in my life am that prepared for art fight. And I really would like again to have all of my shit ready to rock. Like for okay, it's getting pissed at me. Oh, is it just a bad link or like what the fuck is going on? I think the random user button just isn't working. Which really, really fucking... Okay, hello? Can I... Okay. Okay, I think any link that you click is just not gonna work. So even if I want to... Um... Oh, we've got some followers. Defenses, characters. Here we go. Okay. Forgot. Forgot the links aren't working. We might have to do something else today. Which really sucks because I was excited for Art Fight, but I don't want to fucking work on character reference sheets. I don't. Character reference sheets sounds like my worst fucking nightmare. And to be frank, I'd rather drop dead. So, jot that down. So... What the fuck is a bad gateway, you know what I mean? Okay. Okay. Ubuntu. Interesting. Linux server. Look, I learned something from my Linux class. Are you proud of me? Ubuntu is a Linux distribution. It's alright. I didn't use Linux enough to really have a distribution preference. I used Mint. And that was fine. Shit don't matter to me. I have, in recent days, I have been considering, swapping to Linux just because of how shitty Windows is. And there are, like, non-shitty, like, sure. The Linux class I took was fucking awful, but it's not like it's all, like, there are graphical interfaces, like Windows, for Linux, so it's not all hell on earth. And arguably, it wasn't even that fucking bad, the Linux stuff. I didn't mind it. It was just the class itself was really fucking bad. In my opinion, Linux got a bad rap from me, um, due to how dog shit the class was set up. Because the class had you run through like an online, um, it was like it was run. I love this. Thank you. It's the least I could do. But since the course was run through my college, but then my college required me to use a third party tutorial, or no, tutorial is a bad way to put it. It was like a third party online class. It was a certificate course. And you could get Linux certified if you took the test. My ass did not do that. Mainly because I knew it'd be a lot of trouble and I started cheating really, really hard at the end. Ugh. But the way the class was set up was really fucking bad, so it wasn't Linux that was the problem. It was the class itself. Hi Floss, how are you? But considering that Linux is a fucking case sensitive thing, and you are teaching me and using typos while teaching me, blows you up with mind. It's always easier to blame Linux. But the thing is that the training course that I was taking was also really, really bad. They formatted all of the notes in graph format. I'm sorry, not graph. What's the fuck? Table. All of it. Even when it didn't make any sense to make it a graph. Oh, it made me so mad. Oh, I hated it so much. You're crazy for making everything a graph. It's just like all of my teachers putting things into bullet points. Stop that! It doesn't make any sense to put that in a bullet point format. You're writing a paragraph with bullet points. Please get a grip. Just because it looks nicer on the slideshow doesn't mean it's easier to read. Suck my balls. JavaScript. Linux. Linux. Oh, how could you? But I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't learn enough for it to really. Whoa, sorry about that. I'm just fucking around at this point. Yup, Linux. And people having beef with Linux is understandable. I didn't think it was that bad. Cause when I did have problems that do you remember Linux? Even if I had problems with the program, I eventually problem solved my way through them, but I didn't. It's not like I was doing anything exactly complex with Linux. It was like moving files. Cause we were learning the basics. That was a fun semester for me. Not the I had so much going on all the time. My American government class? No, American history, sorry. I don't know why I said government. I was helping some guy print an American government book today in just yeah, pretty much. It was even green, just like the movies. But I was helping some kid print fucking textbook today. He should not have been doing that. But I don't give a shit. I just don't care. But he was trying to print 700 pages. And he was like, why is it not letting me print? I was like, well, maybe because it's 700 pages. We're gonna be here all day. Especially if you do double-sided. Screechers like the movies. Floss was her sister before I got like, what does that mean, Floss? I'm dying over here. Um, the entire stream is going to be me sitting here on a bad gateway screen. If you're lucky. Shrek. Oh. Love you, Shrek. I've been meaning to watch this movies again. I just don't because I don't watch movies. Or anything really. Um I can't find any of my favorite reactors. The Majority Report has done a full commentary run through of the all four Republican debates, which were all dumb, by the way. We did not need to do those because Trump won. Obviously, he won the Republican nomination, so it didn't fucking matter. But they had four debates, all of which I watched front to back, and they were all great because they were so bad. Because they were all fighting under the impression that Trump would die before he gets the presidency. And honestly, at this rate, it's a 50-50 shot that either one of them are gonna fucking make it to the presidency. Anyway, point is I couldn't find a Majority Report full run through of the presidential debate from Thursday. I wish I just watched it the day of. But I'm a bitch and didn't. But they're gatekeeping pretty heavy because because Hassan watched it, and I would watch him watch it front to back, but I don't think anybody posted a VOD of that, which is unfortunate. Okay. It's been a half an hour of me refreshing the fucking page. What do we want to do? Currently, I'm banned from Hassan's channel. It doesn't seem very hard to do, to be honest with you. Yeah. Oh wait, never mind. Yeah. Okay, forget it. Let's do something else. I could draw. I have a oil pastel thing started in my sketchbook, but I don't really. I mean, it's not that I don't feel like finishing it necessarily. Looks kind of good from a distance. Mostly once you get up there, it's not so good. Anymore. Or maybe I just stepped away for long enough and it looks okay now. But anyway, the um. We could play Cinderella Phenomenon. That was my emergency game. I've been thinking about starting another playthrough of Yakuza 0 for fun for myself. But I don't play video games off stream because I have better things to fucking do. Yakuza 0 might become an exception. I never have time though. I did almost play today though. I had to finish reading my 20 pages of my book. I'm almost done with that book. I'm reading Kingdom Coming. I don't remember who it's by, and it's out of sight. But I can't really have nothing to do with playing games. I have 17,000 bajillion hobbies that I partake in, and Kingdom what? Coming! That's right. I'm here just dead inside listening. Sorry, Nosh. Hope you feel better. It's not much to listen to. I'm just fucking yapping since Art Fight's down. I guess I should have assumed since it's fucking day one, so I don't even know why I bothered. But love you, Naj. We could play something else that isn't Cinderella Phenomenon. I just don't know what. We'll just throw on Cinderella Phenomenon. It's been literally over a week since we've fucking done anything. So let's just go ahead and throw on some Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore. I feel like we've earned it. And by earned it, I mean I'm going to make us hurt more than we already were hurting. Oh, I got a couple of... Oh, shit. Oh, 30%. Suck my dick. Remy was talking about the summer sale on Steam, so I might look at that. Cause he got like, I don't even remember what games, but he got some shit on sale, obviously. Um okay, sorry, I got distracted. Hopefully I'll remember to shut the fuck up. Oh my god, I forgot that they have like an introductory song that we skip every time we play. Um that's fine. Don't worry about it. Shut the fuck up. I forgot we're on Fritz. Let me change the game really quick before I forget. Oh yeah, happy National Postal Worker Day, everybody. Very excited for that day. It's also Canadian Day, which is really fucking funny. Hi Evermore. Missed her? Not at all. I'm happy to report. I'm so like Fritz's route has been frustrating and we've been playing it for like an hour, so this will be fun. Hopefully my headache stays at bay. No longer friends. No longer friends with private. Postal Worker Day is my new best friend. So true. Nothing but respect for my troops. And I'll speak on that. Is this it? Chapter 1. That's fucking crazy, man. Whatever. Okay. Oh, it's chapter 1. That's bonkers. Okay, sorry. After explaining the situation to both Jurian and my Wait, what the fuck situation? I already forget what we were doing. My bad. It was a week. Guess it makes sense. Not that I'm happy about it, but... after explaining the situation to both Jurian and my father, I'm finally allowed to return to my room. The first thing I do is collapse onto my bed with a sigh. I have not been laying down for long when a knock sounds on the door. Wagon? Come in. Ugh, yes. My favorite guy. I sit up as Fritz enters the room. He is smiling his usual smile, but he does not seem to be trying very hard to hide the tiredness in his eyes. I pat the space in the bed beside me. Are you okay, Fritz? Right as rain. He is most definitely not. He slides onto my bed, pulling me and slowly... bed beside me and slowly, almost hesitantly, settles an arm around my waist, pulling me closer. Sorry, I just love making shit up. I'm just relieved to know that we got to you today before the situation got any worse. Oh, shit. We got, like, kidnapped or whatever. I totally forgot about that. Magic is dead. Okay, to reiterate, magic is dead in this route. Nobody has it. Witches lashed out at us and was going to kidnap us for ransom. All right. Fritz? You don't have to call me by my title anymore, you know. He had to as a knight of Caldera, but he is no longer a knight. I'm relieving you of that responsibility. Fritz laughed sheepishly. Some habits die hard. There is a moment of silence between the two of us. I know the telltale tension in his body and stifle a sigh. I made him worry today. Had I been able to escape earlier, I might not have needed anyone's assistance. It occurs to me that this is not the first time I've lamented my inability to fight back. As a princess, my life is technically always in danger. Knowing how to defend myself would be extremely helpful. I close my eyes and frown, unable to stop my thoughts from flooding with familiar faces, all of them now gone. Garland, Delora, Parfait. This route had such a crazy high death count. Wow, I still believe I would have been able to save them had I made wiser decisions and known how to fight back. I do not want anyone else to get hurt because of my own weakness. Wagon? Fritz pulls a strand of loose hair away from my face. May I ask you for some advice, Fritz? Of course, anything. I would like some means of protecting myself. Fritz furrows his eyebrows. Wagon, next time you go out, I'll be sure to be with you. Fritz, I want to be able to protect myself. Fritz looks at me quietly. Then, much to my surprise, he smiles, if not a little grimly. I don't have much advice, but I do have this. He points to his wrist. I turn to watch in awe as he slides a dagger out of his sleeve. He hands it to me. Okay, why is this a new fucking guy? Also, it's kind of a mid-dagger. Anyway, isn't it forbidden for knights to carry concealed weapons? The townsfolk must always be able to see what the knights carry. The rule was implemented a few years ago, soon after the chaos that befell Angel. All those granted the right to carry weapons must carry them out in the open. It is our way of building trust with the denizens of the kingdom. Much to my surprise, Fritz grins at me. I don't like Fritz. Get away! Luckily, we're just sitting, like, close to each other, and that's kind of all. Could be worse. Could be worse. I'm not a knight anymore, am I? The expression fades as he puts his finger to the flat surface of the blade. I cannot help but stare at the elaborate design on the hilt. Not seeing one. Yeah, but like, wait until the sex scene. I don't want to think about the sex scene. We're still in chapter 1. It can't hurt us until at least chapter 4. It is beautiful. Where did you get this? It belonged to my mother a long, long time ago. Fritz has barely spoken of his mother. Mom retcon, let's go. Fritz has barely spoken of his mother. All I know about her is that she died when Fritz was very young. My father, like, gave it to her as a gift. She wanted it for the same reasons you did. Suddenly, his expression is melancholy. He dips his head and frowns. Fritz, you do not need to speak about her if you do not wish to. No, that's not it. It's just... I just remembered that the day my mother died, she didn't have this dagger with her. I've had it for a long time, but I never started keeping it on me until... His voice fades. The flicker of gloom in his eyes tells me that he is remembering the events of 2 years ago. Though I have tried to block out many of my memories from that time, I cannot forget the dagger Fritz once pointed at my own throat. It was a dagger he kept hidden up his sleeve, the dagger Varg used to threaten us. Well, I've had it for a while, but now it's yours. Keep it just in case I can't be there. The last thing I want for you is to be in any danger. I look down at the dagger, contemplating. I would like to learn how to use it. A weapon is only useful when you know how to wield it. Of course! I would be more than happy to teach you when I have some time on my hands. He inhales sharply. I stare in alarm as panic flits across his face. Fritz? It's nothing, milady. I still have to give my detailed report, but I promise I'll be free tomorrow morning. He walks toward the door, but then pauses to glance back at me. Wagon? I love you, and I'm glad that I can say that without worrying about anything getting in the way. I love you too, Fritz, with all my heart. Duos exchange smiles before he walks out the front door. As opposed to what, the fucking back door? You're in your room right now, man. What are you on about? Once I am alone, my eyes return to the beautiful dagger in my lap. It feels like Fritz has given me a part of himself, but I cannot get his earlier distress out of my mind. The dagger is a comfort, but it also feels foreboding, like it might be a trigger to something ominous. I hide it away in one of my drawers before falling back onto my bed. It takes me a long time to fall asleep that night. Chapter 2. Chapter 2. Yes! Let's fucking... Right is right. That's so stupid. Fucking hate this arc so far. It makes me sick to my stomach, to be frank with you. And they both sat there, grown up, yet children at heart, and it was summer. Warm, beautiful summer. When I reached the end of the fairy tale, I stopped to look down at the pages, thoughtful. I'm not sure how I felt about this one. I snapped the book shut and gazed at the cover quietly. The Snow Queen is one of Emmeline's fairy tales. She just recently received it for her birthday and allowed me to borrow it for my reading sessions. Okay, weirdo. I turn my attention to the gravestone I'm sitting in front of. Though the sky is dark, the inscription on the grave is illuminated by my lantern. It is Delora's name. I hope that you and Loria enjoyed the fairy tale at least. I have been reading at this gravesite for the last 4 months. Originally, I only came here to set flowers on the graves, but Fritz suggested I try speaking to everyone. I was skeptical at first, but it turns out that reading helps lighten my mood when I am here. I like to imagine Delora and her daughter listening to the fairy tales as I read them aloud. Something soft lands on my head, and I stop to gaze up at the sky. A single droplet makes its way down a leaf and lands on my nose. What the hell? It's raining! Wow, new thing. Color me impressed. Rain? It's been a while since it's rained, hasn't it? I turned to glance at Fritz. He's been leaning against a tree for the past half hour, keeping a lookout for danger while I read. Whoa, different weather? I know! They've upgraded. $11 for weather. Amazing, isn't it? Even in summer, we have these rainy days. A classic time to have rain happen, but sure, go off, say whatever. He glances up at the sky and cocks his head, a soft smile on his lips. Have I ever told you that I love the rain? No, I had no idea. 2 years together. I pick up both the lantern and the book and stand up. Ugh! 2 ands in one sentence, you're going to jail. My gaze flickers briefly to the 4 gravestones lined up in a row. Garland, Delora, Parfait, and Mother. I have already set lilies on all 4, as I do every month. Fritz always accompanies me here on these days. Oftentimes he stands guard from somewhere nearby with a melancholy look on his face. Well, now you know. When I was a child and my father wasn't home, I used to run outside and catch the raindrops on my tongue. He scolded me for it. He said I'd catch a cold. It is hard to imagine a time when Alcaster worried for his son. Alcaster, the previous commander of the Order of Caldera, and Fritz's father, has been banished from Angel for more than 2 years. No one has seen him since he disappeared. Sometimes I wonder if Fritz ever wishes to see him again, but considering everything that happened between them, I doubt their reunion would be a happy one. I turned my thoughts back to our conversation. And did you ever catch a cold? Yes, more than a few times. I enjoyed those sick days, though. My father would begrudgingly make tea, and the 2 of us would talk about his adventures as a knight. Those were the good days. God, I was the first game so much. Like, how? You know what I mean? Like, how is this game setting the bar so fucking high for the first game? Like, the first... Like, it's crazy. The first game was bad. It was shit. But the first game had a certain je ne sais quoi that this game just doesn't have. I see right past your fuck-ass Rain, okay? And your new character models. And I get right down into the resolution problems. This game's, but this one, I know, and I spent $11 on it. Like, I need my money back, man. This was bad. I'm still pissed. He sighs. I feel like an old man when I reminisce like this. I poke Fritz in the shoulder with a teasing smile, because 23 is old. 11 is crazy. I agree completely. And it was also kickstarted. Like, Kat reminded us that this was kickstarted too, which means that other people had, like, donated to get the game made. This is a worse quality. Sure, they blink and you added rain, but what does that mean to me when the first game was free and had about the same quality? Like, you also reused the backgrounds. Hey, but we have rain. Okay, that's an excellent point. Totally forgot. Very sorry. Ancient in the eyes of a child. He takes my hand as another droplet lands on my head. The slight chill in the air gives me more reason to sidle up to him. I press myself into his side and smile when he wraps an arm around my waist. He takes the lantern from me and holds it up to light our way through the forest clearing. The 2 of us are at the outskirts when he turns to me. Do you mind if I escort you to the palace and meet up with you later, milady? What did you just call me? Sorry, the title just comes so naturally. Anyway, would that be alright with you, Wagon? And where will you be going? I need to do some cleaning at the manor. Then, after that, I need to gather a few materials for Jurian. I glance up at the sky again. I'm able to see it more clearly through the canopies now. It looks cloudier, darker. The rain has picked up. My family has dinner with some esteemed guests tonight. Oh no. It's gonna be fucking Karma and Lance. God damn it. If I run that errand with Fritz, there's a possibility I will get caught in the rain and show up late. Though my presence is not required, it might be better for me to be there. I pause to consider the warmth of Fritz at my side and falter. But, oh shit, I forgot this is like a fucking game where I have to make choices. Let me pull that up. Totally forgot. Okay. Accompany Fritz to the manor. Do you mean that? Do you fucking mean that shit? That rocks. I don't want to accompany him. I have terrible news. I'd prefer accompanying him because I don't want to fucking talk to Karma and Lance. To be completely fucking honest with you, to be completely upfront, I do not want to talk to Karma and Lance. I've had enough of them. They keep inserting themselves into the into other arcs because they have to be around. As a result of Lance being one of the new characters, I can't be fucking asked. Anyway, it is not as if I need to be at the dinner tonight, and I haven't been able to spend much time with Fritz, so this is fine. Oh, so you're not busy today? Not any busier than normal. It is not as if I will be gone for the rest of the night, and besides, I lean in closer. It is remarkable how warm he is even now. I would much rather spend time with you while you are still here. You have a tendency to disappear when I'm not watching you. Oh? If I take my eyes off of you for too long, you vanish into thin air. He laughs. Every good knight knows how to be inconspicuous. Besides, he drums his finger gently against my hip and raises an eyebrow. Get the fuck off of me, man. Sometimes you see more interesting things cloaked in shadow. Ew, dude. Make it sound as if you are spying on people. I don't spy on people, Wagon. I'm just observant. This is true. Fritz is incredibly perceptive. He knows more about me than anyone else. The image of you hiding in the shadows is rather ominous. Not at all alluring? No. No, actually. He pauses to face me. His eyes, so golden against his dark skin, seem to shine beneath the shades of the canopies. Neither of us speaks. Fritz brings his thumb to my bottom lip and slowly runs his thumb across it. Lots of things happen in the shadows. Part of the allure is that whatever happens is a secret, don't you think? Fritz looks at me for a long moment, then he grins. Is he just the horny one now? Like, what happened here? You never cease to amuse me. Amuse you? He backs away from me and holds out a hand. I take it, allowing him to pull me through the last of the trees and into the town square. Slay, they had to bring that in. I am not amusing. You wear your emotions on your sleeve, milady. It's precious. I simply prefer honesty. I still have difficulty opening up to people, and I would rather not show weakness in front of anyone, but still ready, let's go. I love a bit of consistency. But I have gotten better. Fritz? Yes, Wagon? You are honest with me too, right? Of course. Okay. His slow answer gives me pause, but I say nothing. Fritz's eyes are already on our surroundings, watching everything and everyone around us warily. The rain has begun to pick up, so I hold the book closer to my chest as we make our way toward his manor. We only stop to pick up food. The streets grow colder as we walk. A bitter chill hangs in the air, and I draw closer to Fritz without thinking. He wordlessly drapes an arm on my shoulder and holds the lantern closer. He glances up at the sky, a fond smile on his lips. Fritz is warm as sunshine, and yet he really does love cold, rainy days, doesn't he? The two of us make our way back. It's to show off his fucking dark side or whatever. He loves the rain because he's annoying now. That's the Varg in him. Ugh. The two of us make our way back to his manor in a peaceful silence. Hey, manor! What's up, Mr. S? Inside, Fritz takes everything I have and sits it down on the table. He lays out a meal for the two of us, and then takes a seat at the table beside me. The meal is thankfully simple. Simple, nothing but a variety of small sandwiches. The simplicity is nice for a change, but after so many extravagant meals at the palate, you get it. So, what sort of cleaning do you need to do? There are some items in my room I need to gather and return to the order. Then I need to organize some documents for Jurian. And when all that is done, what will you do? Fritz stares at me blankly. The look takes me by surprise. Will you have any other obligations to the order? Oh. He smiles a little sheepishly. There might be a few more things, but I should be done by the end of the week. The room quiets as we focus on the meal. I'm not bothered by the silence. I've always found these moments of quiet relaxing, especially in Fritz's company. The silence persists until Fritz gets to his feet and smiles down at me. How about some warm tea for the cold weather? That would be nice, thank you. All right, give me a few moments then. He is on his way to the kitchen when he stops and glances over his shoulder. Feel free to make yourself at home. I did live here for a little bit, so I feel like it's only fair. He disappears into the kitchen, leaving me by myself. When he is gone, I am aware of how absolutely still the manor is. The only sounds I hear are coming from outside. I make my way to the window and stare outside, baffled. It is pouring. The streets are mostly empty, filled with nothing but deep puddles. No wonder it is so quiet. I turn away from the window and begin to wander around the living room. Not much has changed since I first came here 2 years ago. The house is still impersonal, even when it belongs only to Fritz. At least that is what I think. But as I am looking around, I come across a small framed illustration that does not look familiar to me. Slay! Let us see that shit! Also, ew, what was that? Got overwhelmed with excitement about the fact that I could see it. It's not fair that it fades in and fades out so fucking fast. I think it should let us click through it at our own pace, because I would appreciate it more if they let me stop and admire it. Or make fun of it. Depending. Probably make fun of it. That's what I'm here for. It is a small portrait, but the woman featured in it makes me pause. Her hair is as white as the clouds. Her eyes a soft brown. Her smile is gentle and reminds me of Fritz? I picked the framed portrait up and flip it over. There are words written on the back in a cursive slant. I read them aloud. To my wife, you are the sun and I the world. Okay. I hope that I continue to bask in your warmth for the rest of my days. The signature beneath takes me by surprise. Alcaster. I face the kitchen, my heart beating erratically in my chest as I set the portrait down. I am even more surprised when I notice Fritz standing behind me, holding a simple tray with a single teacup on it, his eyes straight to the floor. I follow his gaze to see another teacup turned over and broken. Are you okay? Fritz lets out a nervous laugh. I'm fine, Wagon. Just a clumsy misstep. He sets the tray down on the table and walks off, and returns with materials to clean up the shattered cup and spilled tea. When he is done, Fritz gestures absently at the remaining cup. Though he is smiling at me, his gaze seems far away. He looks shaken. I take the cup of tea from him with some worry. Sorry about that. You can have that cup, and I'll go make myself another. I cradle the cup of tea in my hands and gingerly take a sip. The tea is warm and soothing and helps relieve some of the tension in my body. What do you think? Hold on. Let me fucking offer him the cup of tea. You don't like it? No, it's perfect, but I think you need it more than I do. I'm fine, Wagon. I just accidentally tipped the tray and... Sit down and drink, Fritz. Fritz's shoulders sag as he falls down into a chair at the table and takes the teacup from my hands. After some moments' hesitation, he begins to drink. 2 years ago, when I was stressed, Delora treated me to a mug of... Oh my god, I fucking hate the hot chocolate shit that they do. It pisses me off. I don't know why. Stop ruining hot chocolate for me. You're making it cringe. Delora treated me to a mug of hot chocolate because it helped calm my nerves. Tea has a similar effect. Better? Fritz lowers the teacup and smiles apologetically. I'm sorry. No apologies are necessary, Fritz, but you obviously have something on your mind. Have I really become so easy to read? I can tell the difference between your clumsiness and your distress. I place my hand over his, and for a few moments, Fritz allows me to see past his usual facade. I'm aware of the sadness in his eyes. When he does not speak, I move my hand away with a sigh. I glance at that portrait that I picked up earlier. To my knowledge, that portrait has never been displayed in this room. That wasn't here before, was it? No, I just recently put it out. I found it in my father's room and decided to display it here. Oh my god. Fritz eyes the portrait with a sorrow so profound that it makes my heart ache. I really don't remember my mother's face, but I knew that was her the moment I saw her face. Face twice in a sentence. Wow. Shut the fuck up, Fritz. I know, he's talking so much. I know it's his arc, but like, the shitty part about Fritz's arc in the first game is we didn't get to know him at all because we got to know him in two halves. And now the game is trying to combine the two halves, but now it's just a completely different character that we're getting to know, which isn't fair and doesn't make any sense. What the game should have done is it should have squashed them together in the first game much quicker, so then during this game we already know what his personality is like when it's combined, so now we don't need to get to know him right now. We can just get married or whatever the fuck everyone else has been doing during the second game. Why is there a second game? no significant story has been told. Like, this one kind of makes sense because it, like, there were a lot of holes at the end of Fritz's arc. I feel like he needed, like, the whole game designated for just him to really, like, finish his story, if that makes sense. Like, the stuff he got up to in his arc fell kind of flat because we were getting to know two characters at the same time, whereas everybody else was only one person, so it was, like, more... They had more time to themselves. But then on top of all that, they killed 3 people in his arc and got rid of magic completely. Like, magic was destroyed. So now we have to deal with the, like, consequences of that. Whereas it didn't make much sense to end it that way in the base game. It's very bizarre. But anyway. I'm sorry I reacted so strangely when you picked it up. My mind went blank when you read those words aloud. It's been a while since I read them. For a few moments, Fritz's eyes are far away. One word. One of his hands forms a fist as he looks solemnly down at the table. When you said my father's name, he sighs. It's hard sometimes, remembering my father as someone who could actually love. His words on the back of that portrait remind me of the man he used to be. Fritz and his father never seemed to get along. I never knew how terrible their relationship was until I learned that Alcaster was the one to curse Fritz. Huh? He was? Is that a tear? No, I think it's a sweat drop. They have those sometimes. I don't remember that he was the one to curse Fritz. That's fucking bonkers. He may not have been the one to cast the magic. Oh, but he was the one that gave the command, and that is worse. I always doubted Alcaster loved Fritz. How could he when he was the one to curse him? That wasn't a thing. It might have been, but it had to have been like a one-off line. Also, his glove is a slightly different color than his coat. It is pissing me the fuck off. Like, perhaps jail. I don't know. Fritz leans back in his chair, a defeated expression on his face. You know, sometimes I think I've become exactly like him. Like my father, I mean. I stare at him, uncomprehending. What, Fritz? You're nothing like Alcaster. Are you sure? I used to believe that all knights were righteous and that the citizens of Angel were flawlessly kind-hearted. My father told me that was a naive notion, and I always judged him for being so critical of people. I strove to prove him wrong. And now? Now I think I understand what he meant when he said that people abuse kindness. Fritz's expression is as dark and gloomy as the weather outside. People are always looking for someone to hate. They hide it behind smiles and pleasantries, but in the shadows they plot and scheme and blame their hardships on others. He looks up at me, and I can tell that he's referring to the witches who kidnapped me 3 days ago. Witches, fairies, humans, they're all the same. They're all conniving in their own ways, no matter who or what they are. He sounds like Mother. You give them some power and they abuse it. You show them kindness and they walk all over you. People only bow their heads to those they fear. He breaks off suddenly. His hands are shaking. Okay, like what? Like, who is this guy? Who's this fucking dude, man? Like, in the base game, he's a cardboard cutout of a nice guy. But now in this game, he's like, I'm becoming my father! I have daddy issues! It's like, can you tone it down, please? Just a little. He breaks off suddenly. His hands are shaking, but whether from rage or shock, I cannot tell. Abruptly, he looks away. You see, that it sounds exactly like something my father would say. Okay, then don't say it. Easy as fucking pie, brother. Something his father would say, and something Varg would have said. Anticipated, but disappointing nonetheless. Has Fritz really felt that way all this time? I do not know what happened to Alcaster to make him so bitter. I do not know what happened to make him despise all those around him. But I do know about Fritz's circumstances. You want to know what would be fucking interesting? Is if Fritz was split for so long, he has gained a piece, and now this is probably what the game is trying to do right now. but is going to do poorly because the game can't handle nuance to save its fucking life because it's Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore, an $11 game that, surprising no one, has not been written well thus far. But what would be interesting is if he, in this, since it's not directly in the aftermath of the first game, it doesn't really make sense to bring this plot up anymore. But if Fritz was split so long, he now has to, like, come to grips with a side of his personality that he had, like, that split off from him for so long. I can't even imagine what it'd be like to gain thoughts that I hadn't had in a very, very long time. Like, if I was combined with, say, my middle school self, I would be having thoughts and feelings that while I recognize haven't had in a really, really long time, so it would be very, very bizarre for me to come to grips with a lot of them because a lot of them were negative and depression driven. So it would be weird to feel those things and feel that way. So I can understand how bizarre it would be to be reconnected to that other more negative side of yourself, but the game isn't gonna do that. The game isn't gonna be that fucking interesting. They are also very bad at remembering the first game. Mostly because it doesn't even fucking matter. They're like, who died again? And then that's all that matters. How are you gonna bring Lance and Cinna into this arc? And that's all they think about. But anyway, I have to run an ad, so I'm gonna do that really quick. I will be right back. Everybody sit tight during the ad. Okay, I'm back now. Anyway, but I do know about Fritz's circumstances. I know he has been pressured for a very, very long time. I know that he has been given far more than he has. I know that he has given far more than he has ever received. And I know that sometimes he forces a smile on his face to hide his true feelings. Thank you. It is good to be back. I used to think Fritz was relentlessly optimistic, but the last 2 years have changed him. Or was it the fucking personality combination that changed him? I'm really not so sure that it was the last 2 years, but instead, you never knew the true man. But whatever. I walk over to him. He is still staring down at the table when I wrap my arms around his neck from behind. I don't want to be like him. His voice is just a whisper. You are not like him. Your father allowed hatred to consume his life, but you battle the compulsion relentlessly. He is pessimistic about everything, but you hide your negative feelings away in the hope that you can overcome them. You are strong, Fritz, strong enough to shoulder your own burdens and to still carry mine on your back as well. You are the strongest person I know. I plant a kiss on the top of his head. How'd you get up there? Oh, he is sitting. Never mind. We are standing. Got it. Locked back in. Every time you feel like this, please come talk to me. I tell you about my concerns, and I want you to be able to speak to me too. I pull away so that I can face him. Let me help you in the same way you have helped me. Fritz looks up. Our eyes connect. The smile on his face does not reach his eyes. Some knight in shining armor I am. I can't even remain optimistic for milady. Oh, I was under the impression that you were no longer a knight. His expression falls even further at that, and I immediately regret my words. I know then that there is more on Fritz's mind that he is telling me. I know, however, that he will not share any of it. Fritz always shuts me down when he thinks he is inconveniencing me. The atmosphere in the room is heavy, and the rain does not help the mood any. It is impossible to cheer Fritz up in such a dismal place. I look up and focus on the rain drumming on the window pane. At first, my mind is blank, filled with nothing but the soft sounds of rain. Then, suddenly, an idea occurs to me. I stand and flash a smile at Fritz. I am going outside. What? Wait, wagon! I step outside before he can stop me. The rain is back, baby. That's what we like to fucking say. The moment I step outside, the rain cools my skin. It is coming down so heavily my dress is soaked in mere minutes. Wagon, what are you doing? Fritz stands in the doorway, staring at me owlishly. He looks parts confused and amazed. I turn and laugh. What is it, old man? Are you afraid you will get wet if you follow me out here? Fritz is gaping at me. He looks like a fish out of water, which makes me laugh even harder. I prefer this look to the frown he was wearing earlier. Now, if only I could get him to smile. Of course not, but wagon, you're going to get soaked. I think it's a little too late for that there, Fritz. I love adding words. Also, the squelching sounds is pretty bad, so thank you for adding those, game. I really appreciate it. I turn and begin to walk away. Fritz chases after me. There's no one out in this rain. I do not have to worry about being approached. Well, don't speak so soon. I bet someone's going to come out now that you said that. I break into a run. I have no idea how far I can get before Fritz closes the distance between us, but I feel that I need to get him away from the house. Inside, he becomes trapped with memories of people who are lost to him. He allows sadness to consume him. Wagon, where are you going? I duck into an opening between the trees. I like the fog they also add for some fucking reason. My footsteps do not shatter the quiet reverie of the forest. In fact, the forest feels even more peaceful beneath the steady downpour. It is not long before I hear Fritz behind me. I've only just ducked beneath the branches of a looming tree when I feel his hand on my back. I turn and am shocked when I see the crooked grin on his face. I find myself backing into a tree before I can help it. Fritz draws closer and closer until that grin is mere inches away from my face. Ugh. Okay, sure, whatever. Well. He's close enough that I can feel... That one didn't feel very good. That one felt like I was gonna turn around and it was gonna be like a criminal. I was like, but whatever. He's close enough that I can feel his breath on my cheeks. I shudder and I'm not entirely sure if it's because of the rain or Fritz's expression. Looks like you've been caught, Miss Runaway. So was I, a little bit. But Varg can't fucking hurt us anymore because Varg is the same man standing before us right now. Just combined. You ever think about that? You ever think about how the guy who assaulted us combined with this guy? I just thought of that just now. Ugh, dude, that's yucky, dude. Get the fuck out of here. Ugh. Did I read this? I hope so, because I don't want to read it again. His smirk is short-lived. It soon fades into a frown so cold it makes my heart sink. Whoa. So yucky. What? And he's getting worse. What the fuck is going on? I don't want to marry you anymore, man. I never did in the first place because your arc was so dog shit. Dude, sometimes I think about the first time I played this game, like back when I played with my friend for the first time. We had agreed that the best character to date was him because he had nothing fucking going on, right? Like, of all the caveats that came with the other characters, Rod is your stepbrother. Karma is fine. Karma was another one that didn't necessarily have a caveat. It was just like the woman thing could grow problematic if written poorly. It was written poorly, but it wasn't in like a super weird way or anything. Like, it wasn't like filled with contempt that he has to dress up as a woman. It was just a part of the story, which was good. But at the time, we didn't know that. And so that was his caveat. Waltz was 12 at the time, physically. And then, who else was it? Oh, and then Rumble's just fucking annoying. He's just a piece of shit. So Fritz was the best choice out of all of them. Childhood friend, knows each other really well, but we couldn't play it because the game locks you out of Fritz's route because of the way that the game is run, where there's an order to it. But we didn't know that at the time, so when we found out that we couldn't pick Fritz, we were kind of pissed off, so we just defaulted to Karma. But the fact that we felt that way, and how far I've come since then in realizing that Fritz is literally the fucking shittiest character of all time, it's just funny how far... Never meet your heroes, basically. It's like... Not that he was ever my hero, but you get the idea. Anyway, what will you do now? How do you plan on escaping? I can see something in Fritz's eyes, something I've seen before. A challenge. Don't really want to, though. I tried throwing myself against him, but Fritz quickly stops my movement by pressing himself closer to me. I gasp, suddenly aware of the warmth in his body. Even beneath the soaked clothes, he radiates a lulling heat. I look up at him with determination, but falter when I notice the emptiness in his eyes. Rain trails down his skin, making it look as if there are tears coursing down his cheeks. Fritz? He says his... The hell? The fuck is going on? He sets his head on my shoulder. He is so close I can feel his heartbeat reverberating through my body. Wagon, I can't lose you. Fritz? Slowly, his fingers fall from my wrists. He raises his head slightly, but his voice is nothing but a whisper. Sure. If someone trapped you like this in an alley, if you weren't able to take out the dagger in time, if you were kidnapped because I wasn't with you. He takes a deep, shaky breath. If anything ever happened to you, I would never forgive myself. I cannot help but recall what Fritz said about the dagger he gave me. He told me that it was his mother's, that the day she died, she did not take it with her. Was his mother killed? I think back to Fritz's anxiety, to the faraway look in his eyes when he discussed his mother and father. I don't understand. Not completely, but... I put my hands on Fritz's chest and slowly, gently push him away so that I can look into his eyes. You will never lose me. I hold his gaze with confidence. My friends died so that I could continue to hope for a better world. Those who survived have the obligation to keep that dream alive. I believe in you, Fritz, so please believe in me. Fritz breathes out softly. Once again, I feel the warmth of his breath on my cheeks. I continue to look at him, waiting. Finally, the silence breaks, and he smiles at me softly. It is a small and fragile smile, but the honesty in it is relieving. You really are something else, Wagon. He pulls a strand of wet hair from my face and cups my face in his hand. Too many faces, bitch! Stop that! Yes, I trust you. He bridges the gap between us in a heartbeat. Ah! Look out! Everyone fucking look out! I like the raindrops they've added on his clothes. That doesn't make any damn sense. Anyway, our lips meet, and despite the bitter cold of the air around me, I'm suddenly warm. I do not protest when he slides his hand down the length of my back to my waist. Our kiss, which starts small and hesitant, eventually grows deeper, bolder. The feeling of the rain on my skin fades completely as I focus on the sensation of his lips against my own. On the comforting and stable press of his body. When Fritz finally pulls away from me, his mischievous smile is enough to send a shudder of anticipation coursing through me. Thank God we cut away from that quick. Strange. I could have sworn you weren't a witch anymore, and yet I have the distinct feeling you've put me under a spell. He twines his fingers through mine with a smile. Have you had enough of this rain? So long as you are feeling better, yes. After that, who wouldn't? Okay, weirdo. Horny! He is going to jail. Look at myself, Fritz. So true, I'm in the same boat. I nudge him in the shoulder, but he just laughs merrily. Let's return before you catch a cold. The two of us make our way back through the forest and toward his home. I don't want to go back there. Vibes are kind of shit. Oh, okay. Happy to be back. Once we are back inside, Fritz releases my hand and shakes his head, scattering raindrops all over the floor. Despite our best efforts to dry ourselves, we are both still make puddles on the floor. Fuck off! Please proofread Jesus Christ! Out loud, preferably. Fritz claps a hand on my shoulder. His touch, even through the fabric of my clothes, sends electricity coursing through my body. Damn, are we gonna get the fucking sex scene like this early in the game? Is he that horny, brother? I could prepare a bath for you, milady. That should help you warm up. Oh, sorry, I mean wagon. I would prefer you keep me warm instead. We might get the sex scene early. The words are slippery and are out of my mouth before I can regret them. Fritz stares at me, looking equal parts flustered and shocked. Then, slowly, his lips curl into a smile. Is that in order? Yes. Well then, as you command, your highness. He slides behind me and plants a kiss on the nape of my neck. Then, before I can react, he picks me up and walks me toward his bedroom with a cocky smile on his face. This is actually a lot more convenient. I was wondering where I was going to find you a change of clothes, but now it looks like I needn't worry. Sex scene very fast? He pushes the door of the bedroom open with his foot and walks me inside. This is our room, actually. There was 2 rooms. Don't think I fucking forgot that shit when we played the first game, because I stayed here for a while and he didn't, which means this is not his room. They're just reusing it. Blows you up with mind. He pushes the door of the bedroom open with his foot and walks me inside into a quiet and gentle darkness punctuated only by the soft rattle of rain against the windows. The two of us spend some time in each other's company, laying close enough together to stay warm in the cold and silent home. By the time I return to the palace, the cold has abated, and I am filled with a lingering and hopeful warmth. Okay, no sex scene, but that was a fucking close one, if you don't mind my saying. How do we fucking get here? Oh, it's been 3 days since the intense rainfall. 3 days since I very nearly spent the night in Fritz's home. I probably would have slept the night away in his arms if not for the fact that I suspected the palace guard would come looking for me if I did not return. Fritz and I walked back to the palace the first opportunity we got, but that did not stop my family from worrying. Ever since that day, Fritz has been sleeping in his room at the palace. Whether to be closer to me or to avoid going back to his home, I am not sure. Perhaps it is both. Fritz leans against my desk with a smile, calm and collected as usual. I don't have much time before I have to go meet with the king, but... You called me here because you had a special request, right? What can I do for you? I sit up a little straighter on my bed, hoping that my gaze holds nothing but resolve. I want Fritz to take my next words seriously. I've been thinking about this ever since he gave me the dagger. Fritz, I would like for you to teach me something. He already agreed to fucking do that, man. You just didn't. You just decided to have annoying heterosexual sex. I know! Isn't it weird? Because that's exactly what happened last time. Where we played Rumpel's arc and it was fucking awful and it was super goddamn boring. But then we get to Fritz's arc and it's more interesting, sure, but it's worse. Because they get too ambitious. No, I know, nothing happens in this game either. In Rod's route, it was the worst because it was like, you are telling you're keeping secrets from me and that makes me sad and you promised to never keep secrets from me. And then in fucking, then the end of his was a marriage proposal. So then when we start the next route, Karma's route, with the marriage proposal already like locked in, I was confused. I was like, oh, so are we not getting married then? Or like, what the fuck is going on? I mean, it ended in our marriage, so like functionally it was the same, but it wasn't. At least that one had like a plot to it a little bit. where it was just like, well, technically the rod one did too, but it was just really shitty. And the karma one was okay. It was like, my brother is mad at me, blah, blah, blah. And then we, like, had that sword battle. That was a plot point. It wasn't super interesting, obviously, but it was better than nothing. And then Rumple had nothing going on. We didn't fucking solve anything for Rumple. It was just like, I'm the new palace guy. I'm the new doctor at the palace, and all of the rich people hate me because I'm poor, which is not a plot point that came up at all in the base game for him. It was not notorious that he was a commoner. And sure, he was okay, that's not true. It was notorious that he was poor, but it was insignificant at the point in the game we were at. It was significant that he was poor because his wife was mad about it. That was why the poorness was significant, not because it was causing him problems. Because it wasn't. Well, it did once, but that gave us an opportunity to do a good deed. So like, whatever. But like, there's no like good deed adjacent thing that Wagon needs to do. She is just here for the ride for whatever fuck ass problem the boy of interest has. And she will be there for whatever conversation needs to move that plot in the right direction. It's bad. $11. $11 fucking dollars. You think about how crazy that shit is? This is $11 fucking dollars. Half the content and worse. Boggles my mind. Literally, I'll never get over it. Someone owes me $11, and it is the developers of this game. Anyway, Fritz, I would like for you to teach me something. Teach you something? Let me check what I have to be taught. I have to be taught how to defend myself. Defend yourself? Oh. Understanding lights his face when I reach into my drawer and pull out the knife he gave me. I mentioned this before, but carrying around this knife is useless if I do not know how to use it. It is not just about using the knife, though. I would like to learn to protect myself even without the weapons. I think back to the moment Fritz captured me in the forest. He told me to free myself, and I was unable to do so. We didn't try that hard, though. If you were in a real emergency situation, I'm sure it would have been worse. It would have been worse, but whatever. Even if I'd wanted to, I would have been unable to reach for the knife. Then headbutt him or something, brother. It could not have been that difficult. I'd rather you didn't have to use the knife at all. And if I have to? I know how protective Fritz is. I know he does not want to hurt me or watch me be hurt, and this is why I believe he will give in to the request. Even something simple will help. I do not want to be a burden, Fritz, not to you and not to myself. I may no longer have magic, but that does not mean I am incompetent. Finally, Fritz relents. His sullen gaze slips into a smile. Remember how in Karma's arc we learn how to sword fight, but that doesn't come up at fucking all in Evermore? I think it did for like 2 seconds. Like, I think we like spar at the beginning of the arc, and that's pretty much fucking it. But like, the discrepancy in skill between the men and Wagon in each arc is very bizarre to me. Like in Rumple's route in the base game, oh my god, he couldn't do fucking anything, and that's why like 6 people died. That was pretty nasty and completely his fault. He didn't think to bring a gun or anything. He just sat there. Like that's nasty. Rumple was bad. But then, like, we had magic or whatever, so, like, we'll know how to defend ourselves now as a result of knowing magic and being the Tenebrarum bearer. So the fact that we don't have magic or sword fighting abilities in this one is just very weird to me. It feels like we spent the entire base game wasting our time. So now we're making up for it in Evermore, and it's just weird. Finally, Fritz relents. His sullen gaze slips into a smile. I love your confidence, Wagon. It's inspiring. I will do anything to protect it. To protect you. So yes, I'll teach you the basics of defense. I only hope you'll never have to be in another situation where you have to use the techniques. Of course, this being a plot point means we will inevitably be be implementing these techniques, but whatever. Thank you, Fritz. You never need to thank me, Wagon. We'll do our practices in the forest. There you can learn both evasion and defense. He stands up, and when he raises his eyebrows, I can see a familiar confidence, a challenge, sparking in his eyes. He steps forward and plants a quick kiss on my lips. I'm looking forward to seeing you triumph. I will triumph, I promise. I believe it. Fritz offers me one last smile before excusing himself to run the day's errands. What does he do now? He quit his job. My brother's unemployed, so, like, what's the issue? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is going on? Why isn't he acting more unemployed? The dining hall is lively this morning, filled with the voices of my chattering family. The four of them have been discussing some kind of upcoming ball, but my thoughts are elsewhere. No matter how hard I try, I cannot dispel the image of the rain running down Fritz's cheeks like tears. Fritz was smiling by the end of the night, but his sadness still seems to linger. I have to find some way to help him overcome it. But how? Wagon? Wagon. Rod's voice is loud enough to break me from my reverie. I look up at him, startled. He just rolls his eyes before going back to his breakfast. The trick app is to say her name like Lena. Just deeply unserious for him to be saying all of this when his voice is what it is. Oh, I'll keep that in mind. I grumble as the two of them exchange a smile. You needed me for something? We wanted your opinion on the theme for the upcoming ball, dear. My opinion? I do not care what sort of theme it has. Emmeline and Ophelia are better at planning these elaborate affairs anyway. You at least need to give us your opinion on the finalized concepts. I wait for Ophelia to list the ideas. In the end, I consent to a mixed floral theme. Ophelia thinks it would be nice for the summer. It hardly matters. The noblemen and ladies will come regardless because it is a royal ball. Later, when the damn, okay. Fucking... Debbie Downer! I'm really witty and can think on my feet. I also have a high vocabulary. Not many people know this about me. But me and the thesaurus are best friends. That's fucking right. Open all the time. Anyway, later when the conversation dwindles and the food is finished, the servants begin to clear breakfast from the table. Father reminds me of a council meeting later in the day before excusing himself. Ophelia is quick to follow, saying she needs to work on plans for the ball. I am left with Emmeline and Rod. So, how is Sir Fitzgerald doing? Fine, I think. You think? He has been extraordinarily busy. I had thought his resigning would mean no more obligations. So did I. He's not acting unemployed enough. But he still has many loose ends to tie up. I hope he can have breakfast with us again soon. Is something wrong? I was just thinking about the last time he had breakfast with us. Oh. For a few moments, the dining hall is quiet, save for the clatter of plates and the utensils as the kitchen staff removes them from the table. Last time Fritz was here, he accidentally managed to impale the table with a fork and knock over a platter of fruit. He also nearly hit a man in the head with a spoon. Well, it's a fun memory to look back on. How did he manage to throw the spoon backwards at one of the servants? Since when was he like this, man? Like, what the fuck are we talking about? It slipped out of his hand? It's remarkable how Fritz can be so composed one moment and then shockingly clumsy the next. Okay, fucking retcon in more information. Slay, I love that. I love retcons. I believe he said he was extremely tired that day, but... Emmeline laughs. Sir Fitzgerald is a wonder. He is. Ever since that incident, he has purposefully avoided invitations to breakfast. I clear my throat. Well, I have some morning errands to run with Fritz, so I will excuse myself early. Emmeline and Rod both look at me quizzically. Errands? Personal errands. Tell Father I will be back in time for the council meeting. The three of us exchange farewells before I head out. Shut up, Rod, not talking anymore. Fuck yeah, that was awesome. And here we are. After leaving the dining hall, I went to the front gates to meet Fritz, who was there just after 10 as promised. He walked me to the edge of the forest along with 3 of his most trusted guards. As soon as we reached the clearing, he told the guards to scatter. Today is the day he teaches me how to defend myself. Is there a reason you brought other knights with us? To watch the perimeter, just in case. He is cautious as always. He takes my hand and leads me over to a tree stump. Milady? He bows and I sit down. I smile at him. Lord Fitzgerald. When I laugh when he blushes. So far, I do not think anyone other than the knights he used to train have used his new title. He coughs to clear his throat. I'll give you the rules of our exercise before we start. Rules? Yes, the goal is to keep me from touching you by any means necessary. The only thing you aren't allowed to use is the dagger. He glances at the small pocket of my dress. I never told him I had it in my pocket. How did he know? Well, we'll have you use the dagger later, when you become more accustomed to its weight. Okay, that's the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my life. But for now, he takes a step forward. Between one step and the next, a wolfish... Do you guys remember when he was a fucking wolf? A wolfish grin appears on his face. You are going to hide and run and do whatever it takes to get away from me. Because in this exercise, I'll be hunting you. Okay, man. I don't know. This is kind of fucking weird. Even if we're doing it for, like, training purposes, I remember the men you were. I know who you fucking are, man. You are half-Varg, and I will not forget what he did to us, okay? So you will step the fuck off before I scream or something, okay? Like, step away, man. Hunting? The look on his face reminds me of the smirk he was wearing in the forest yesterday. It is a smile that will always remind me of Varg. Exactly what I was thinking, Queen. We gotta fucking kill him. Wagging? He looks at me concerned. Too much? No, I was just thinking about something. I stand from the tree stump with renewed resolve. I am ready. Are we gonna, like, fucking talk about... I guess it's been 2 years, so we don't necessarily need to talk about him being half-Varg, but I am deeply concerned. The audience, who, to me, this may not be 2 years after. It probably a little... How long has it been? It's been a while, but not 2 years. And I don't know. I just remember I didn't experience the 2 years with him. So, like, anyway. Good. This is just a test run, so no pressure. Just do what you think is instinctively best, and we'll work on your lesson from there. I have not done something like this since I was a child. Only back then, the running was nothing more than a game. I clench my hands into fists and nod. Remember to stay in the forest, wagon. I take a few steps back, waiting for him to signal. Much to my surprise, Fritz only closes his eyes and crosses his arms. I'll give you a 10-second head start. He immediately begins counting down after that, and without another thought, I turn on my heels and run. I run as fast as my legs can take me. This is kind of scary. Doing my best to weave through the forest bramble as quietly as I can. Eventually, the sound of the counting stops. I hear Fritz take one step, then another. Then he is running into the forest after me. My heartbeat picks up as he draws nearer. Even though it is Fritz, I cannot stop myself from shaking. What should I do? I don't know, man. I'm kind of uncomfortable. Hide. Fritz is a fast runner, and I have no doubt he will catch me if I continue at this pace. It might be more effective to hide from him. I quickly scatter the leaves in front of me and sweep them in the opposite direction with my foot, hoping Fritz will assume I have gone the other way. Then I put my back to the nearest tree and hold my breath as he approaches. I do my best to still my breathing, even going so far as to bite down on my lip as I press myself into the tree and try to make myself small. It is only when Fritz disappears around the bend that I lose a breath, incredulous. It worked? No sooner has the thought occurred to me than that I suddenly hear a voice at my shoulder. Lame ass. Boo! I jump away from the tree with an undignified yelp, then hurry to reach for something I can use as a weapon. Find a loose branch on one of the trees, snap it off, and hold it before me. Fritz immediately goes on the offensive, reaching out to grab me as I shrink away. I hold up the branch in front of me like a shield. Clever. Oh my god, he pisses me off. He stalks just out of range. His footsteps quiet as he circles me. It almost feels like an animal toying with his prey. I'm so busy. So busy watching Fritz's movement that I do not notice when he suddenly pivots in my direction. I take a step back, but come back to back with the tree trunk. Oh my god, 3 backs in one sentence. I'm reading it again. I take a step back, but come back to back with the tree trunk. You're crazy. I hold up my branch, but it is useless. Fritz grabs the branch. Which is already been. Okay. Fritz grabs the branch with one hand and leans forward to plant a kiss on my forehead. Caught you. I sigh as I let the tree branch fall from my hand. What you did was wise. Using a branch as a shield? Fritz laughs. Well, that, yes, but I'm referring to the hiding. There is a reason I wanted to start off like this before moving on to defense. Evasion is important. It's best to avoid a fight if you can. You're pretty good at hiding. But you caught me. Because I heard you sigh. Still though, your instincts are good, Wagon. Anyway, now that the exercise is over, which was fucking unnecessary, let's move on to defense, shall we? For the next hour, Fritz teaches me defensive stances. He shows me how to react in certain situations, including ones that are similar to my capture in the alleyway. Come to the end of the hour, he has taught me how to break out of someone's grip. The first method involves playing back on someone's thumb, and the second involves playing down on their forearm. I'm about to ask him to demonstrate one of the holds when I stop, realizing the time. Fritz is one step ahead of me. You have to be getting back now, don't you? Some meeting with the counselors? I nod my head with a sigh. My attendance at these meetings is necessary, not only because I will be queen someday, but because my father insists I know the various counselors personally. I'll lead you back then. He offers his arm, and I allow him to lead me back to the palace. The council meeting goes longer than expected. By the time the counselors are finally excused, it is just Father and I in the room. I am exhausted. I fall back into my seat with a soundless sigh. Father smiles at me from his seat.
Exhausting, isn't it?
I nod. It is no wonder you are always so tired.
The more meetings you attend, the easier it will become to participate in them.
Father eyes the empty throne in the room with a fond smile on his face.
It is times like these that I am most grateful for family.
I look at him, curious. He simply inclines his head.
It is always easier to shoulder your burdens if you have loved ones there to pick you up.
Oh, hi, Dad. It's so true. Too bad he's fucking dead. Next one, huh? Before, I shunned others and refused to let myself be a part of the family. I did not think I ever needed to depend on anyone. Now I realize that depending on others is not a weakness, but a strength. I allow myself to lean on my family and on Fritz. I hope Fritz feels comfortable doing the same with me.
Wagon?
I look up at my father.
How are things going between you and Lord Fitzgerald?
They're fine. Why do you ask?
Perhaps it is not my place to ask, but have you spoken with him recently about what he plans to do after his retirement paperwork is complete?
Fritz hasn't mentioned anything. Retirement is so funny. Fritz hasn't mentioned anything to me, but I do not want Father to worry needlessly about our relationship. He has spoken about it some.
Oh, I am glad. He seemed at a loss when I spoke to him the other day.
Strange. I wonder why Fritz brought this up to Father and not to me.
I have no doubt that you'll help him figure it out.
I stand abruptly. If I may, Father, do you mind if I excuse myself for a couple of hours? I have another meeting later, and I would like to enjoy my break while I still can.
Of course. Thank you for your hard work, Wagon.
Father offers a cordial nod as I leave the throne room. No sooner have I walked out into the corridor than a person steps in front of me, effectively blocking my path. I forgot that another nasty have fun beer packing. Another nasty tendency of this game is the fucking Fritz's arc in particular. You only ever interacted with Fritz. You didn't get to know anybody else, and it was like you spent so much time, and it was necessary because like Fritz was split in half or whatever. So like you had to spend double the time with Fritz as a result. But it's happening again in an arc or whatever where he's the same fucking person. God, we saw him earlier in Rumpelstiltskin like 2 times. And it was really fucking funny that he was there. Because it was like out of left field for no fucking reason. Remember when he dies in Karma's arc? I miss that arc. It's the one true arc because he's fucking dead. Anyway, good afternoon, Wagon.
Ugh.
I stumble back in surprise. Fritz smiles apologetically. Sorry, I thought I'd wait out here for you. Where were you even hiding? Hiding? I wasn't hiding. I was just standing right outside the door. How did I miss him? Fritz's eyes glimmer as he leans toward me. Are you free now? For a few hours. I'm assuming you want to go somewhere. I always want to go somewhere with you, Wagon. Well, I'd like a break from you, man. But whatever. But yes, if you have the time, I'd like to take you out to town today. There's something I'd like you to see. Then by all means, please lead on. Fritz takes my hand and begins to lead me down the corridor. As we approach the gates, I recall what Father said in the throne room and paused, considering. He said that Fritz discussed something about the future with him, something he has not yet told me. Is there a reason why he does not want to say anything to me? Wagon, is something on your mind? Hold on, let me decide. Dismiss. What? Why? Whatever. Oh my god! Okay, sorry. Looked ahead at the next choice. It's not looking good, man. Anyway. Oh no, I was just thinking about the meeting. There must be a reason Fritz has not said anything yet. I should leave it be for now. What was the topic today? Was it another meeting about the rising crime rates? More or less. What was the consensus? Most everyone suggested an increase in security. Many of the counselors suggested having nights work extended hours. Fritz froze his eyebrows, looking disgruntled. I vetoed the idea. If we wanted to make that work, we will have to increase the number of nights we send out, not the hours we make them work. No offense, but these rich men know nothing about how difficult a knight's job is. I am no knight, but I know how hard Fritz and Jurian work. Rest in peace, Garland, my brother. Damn! Miss his ass. They do not. Father agreed with me on the matter. He also insisted that Jurian be there to provide her own expert opinion. Like father. He stops suddenly and shakes his head. Never mind. I am sure His Majesty was glad to have you there to echo his opinions. Yes, but it took a while to convince the counselors. Thus the reason the meeting went for so long. Well, at least it's over now. He squeezes my hand and smiles as we head out toward the gates and into town. Thank you for the gate sound. That shit was jarring as hell. Fritz takes me to the edge of the main plaza where a large crowd is already gathered. I nod my head politely at the townsfolk who meet my gaze. Town Square will always be the other one for me, because we do other town squarely shit in the other background, so I don't know why they chose this one. Whatever. What is happening here? Fritz smiles. You'll see, it's a surprise. He leads me to the front of the crowd. I direct my attention to the central object of attention, a large stand. Behind it stands a man. What? Hey babe, what's going on? I'm so excited for your art because I know it's gonna be normal. That's my wife. That's my beautiful wife. Hello everyone, my name is Waltz, and today I'll be telling you all a story. I had no idea Waltz had a show planned for today. Waltz begins the show and with the practiced ease of a long-time performer. Today he has his puppets and is sitting behind a stand and using them to act out a scene. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there lived a little witch. The little witch had a best friend who happened to be a human girl. The story goes on, with Waltz playing both of the characters. It is a short about a witch who does magic for her friends every day. But then one day magic disappears and the witch no longer has any magic with which to impress her friends. For some time, the little witch is ostracized. She feels alone and sad because she no longer possesses the things she thought made her special. But at the end of the story, the little witch's friends return. The little witch's friends told her that even if she could no longer use her magic, that didn't mean her magic was gone. She still had magic. One of the puppets points to the other. Magic that was in her heart. So stupid, man. He smiles. And regardless of the magic that used to exist, we all still have magic in our hearts. That is why even today, the little witch and her friends can live happily ever after. I'm surprised by the loud applause. The people liked this story? It is hard to believe after what my captors said to me. They made it sound as if witches were being discriminated against. I turned to look at Fritz, who was applauding with everyone else. I got so excited by the fact that Waltz was here, and then Fritz showed back up, and I was like, wow, I no longer care. I thought you needed to see this. You're not the only one trying to pick up the pieces from 2 years ago, Wagon. You're not in this alone. Fritz. The applause dies away as some of the children rush forward to bombard Waltz with questions. Most people did not know Waltz was a witch until he publicly announced it 2 years ago. I don't know why he fucking would do that, because it's over now. It ended 2 years ago. He did it hoping it would ease tensions between the humans and witches. Doesn't make any sense. Shut the fuck up. Challenge. Impossible, really. Fritz leans over and grabs my hand. He pulls me. Can't we talk to Waltz for a few minutes? He pulls me away from the crowds and to the outskirts of the plaza. Once we are safely outside the area, he turns to me, one hand on his hip. I'm was in town earlier and I heard about Sir Waltz's show. I knew that I had to bring you here. Thank you, Fritz. Even now, Fritz still thinks of me first. He is the most dedicated person I know. Eventually, the crowd begins to dissipate. Waltz, who is in the middle of taking down his stall, pauses when he notices Fritz and I. Princess, Sir Fitzgerald. He walks toward us with a bright smile. It is nice to see you again, Waltz. Waltz bows. And you too, Princess. Were you two here for the show? Fritz brought me here to see it. It was a good show with an interesting topic. I heard about the kidnapping. Did you? Sorry to hear. Rumors spread fast in Angel. I'm sorry, Princess. You do not need to apologize. Waltz shakes his head. Whoa! Ah! 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 What is going on? Dude, they did him so dirty. What? Ew! What? Dude! And we're gonna have to see that shit all the fucking time! In the next arc! You're crazy! You're fucking crazy! You're bonkers! Why would you do that? He doesn't have ears! What is that? Wow! Wow! $11. Ah! That's... Wow! I'm so angry. I'm so pissed off. Anyway. Don't look anymore. You're bearing a guilt you don't deserve. What happened 2 years ago was Lady Parfait's decision, not yours. Given the circumstances, it was the one thing that could be done. Oh my god. He's back to normal. Exactly. All of us want to help where and when we can. Bridging the distance between humans and witches is a first step all of us can help with. I may not have my magic anymore, but that does not mean I've changed any. No, Waltz is still unflaggingly optimistic. Never turn again. I know. Wow, that was so bad. Because you can't just fucking do that shit. Because his ear is visible on this side. And just because he has bangs that are longer on the other side doesn't mean anything to me. I still need to see some ear, man. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be real fucking upfront and honest. Also, his head's like completely flat. That's not how heads work. Anyway, please don't turn ever again. I'm so deeply upset. Wow. Because at least Fritz's like 3/4 angle to front angle isn't as bad. It looks okay. It's not my favorite thing in the world that occurs, but Waltz's side profile was the worst thing to ever happen to me ever. So jot that down. That it was traumatizing. I'm sick to my stomach. Wow. Might ruin his whole arc. That's crazy. Because he's my favorite. Both Waltz and Fritz are smiling at me. When my eyes catch Fritz's, he takes my hand in his and gives it a gentle squeeze. Have fun, be right back in. He turns to look at Waltz. It was a great show, Sir Waltz. I was happy to see it. And I was glad both of you could be here to see it. You are to come into town more often. We will both try our hardest to do that. Waltz flashes us one last smile before returning to his booth, and to the children crowded around it. It sounds as if they are asking him to play a game. I turn to Fritz. We still have some time left. Do you want to take a stroll around town, or perhaps you would like to rest? Some part of me just really wants to speak to Fritz about what I heard earlier. I need to know that he is okay. Fritz is quiet for a few moments as he considers. In the end, he asks if I would be okay accompanying to his home for some tea. Please don't take me back there, man. It was weird in there. What's funny is it was my favorite area in the first game during his arc. I was like, ooh, new area. This is so exciting. Now I don't want to be there. I nod my approval, and the two of us begin to make our way there. Oh, wow. Cool. Now we get to be in the place that made him sad. Sorry, didn't mean to click that. I sigh as Fritz sets the tray of tea on the small table in front of us. It is at times like this, when we are sharing tea in your home, that I wonder if you really are an old man stuck in a young man's body. Wagon, I am offended. Despite his words, he still smiles as he plops down on the cushions beside me. And here I thought tea would make conversation more pleasant. Fritz glances at me after taking a sip of his tea. You wanted to talk, yes? You always speak to me about your concerns, so it's only right that I tell you mine. Though, if I'm being honest, my concerns seem a little petty by comparison. Petty? I am skeptically. I know you, and your problems are never petty, Fritz. So please, talk to me. You know you can tell me anything. Thank you, Wagon. Maybe it would help to start at the beginning. Beginning? Have I ever told you why I decided to become a knight? No, you haven't. You weren't forced into it, were you? I cannot help but think of the traitorous Alcaster and of the enormous amount of pressure he always put on Fritz. I would not be surprised if Fritz had felt there was no choice but to follow in his father's footsteps. No, I wasn't. Fritz lowers his teacup and stares into it, his eyes filled with melancholy. Slowly, I slide toward him and lean my head on his shoulder. Wow, it's a really bad angle. Happy for you guys. Back when I was a child, there was nothing I loved more than listening to my father talk about the knights. Also, why is his hair different emotionally? Whatever. Because he had such long days, I was usually stuck at home with the servants. They didn't interact with me much, so I was usually lonely up until the moment my father returned home with his sword in hand. When he came back, he would tell me stories over dinner. He used to tell me tales of knights in shining armor, of men who protected the kingdom with their lives. He told me about the noble counselors and of Angel's honorable king. The pictures he painted were filled with chivalry and heroism. For a few moments, Fritz is quiet, his eyes cloudy with memory. I loved him so much, and I was proud to be his son. That didn't change, even when we grew distant. I had always thought my father's dedication to putting the kingdom first was admirable. Later, when I decided I wanted to become a knight, my father trained me, even allowed me to use his own sword. The day he was made commander, we celebrated with this same tea. He draws away from me with a sigh. Suddenly, he looks stiff. Back then, everyone thought of me as his shadow. They said I had no individual aspirations, that I may as well have been a copy of my father. I think I proved them right when I followed Shut the fuck up, challenge, impossible difficulty, you guys are so fucking annoying. Anyway, sorry. He just is. I think I proved them right when I followed in my father's footsteps and joined the knights. But, he looks at me and smiles gently, I never let the cynicism get to me. When I learned that I was to become the princess's own personal knight, I didn't mind being compared to my father. All of my priorities shift to you. I saw the way you closed people off, the way you were compared to your mother, and I... Whoa. He sighs as he picks up his tea. I'm gonna need more water. Wow! I understood because my whole life, I too had been compared to my father. But you never lived in your father's shadow. You have always been your own person, Fritz. Maybe, but either way, the fact remains that for all those years, the only thing I believed myself capable of was being your knight. I was happy to focus on my duties because I had nothing outside of them. My brother has no hobbies. That's why he's having a tough time acting unemployed, is because he doesn't want to be unemployed. Fritz's shoulders sag. The truth is, Wagon, I'm terrified of what happens next. I am nothing without my sword and armor. Those people were right. I aspired to be like my father, and even when he was gone, I took up his mantle as commander without complaint. I followed his footsteps exactly, and now that I have to give up my responsibilities, I have only you. This is what I've been wanting for years, but... He sinks even further into the cushions, his gaze forlorn. Now that I am no longer your personal knight, I have nothing to offer you, Wagon. His voice is small and weak. I love you so much, but I am not good enough for you. Oh shit! I have no plans for my future. Nothing else that I can be besides your knight. What am I without my title? Then why'd you fucking quit, brother? Damn. My whole life I have been trying to live up to others' expectations. First my father's, then the king's, and now yours. And I have never been good enough. I set my tea down so I can look into his eyes. Fritz, that's not true. There's more to you than your past. You have the entire future ahead of you. You can be yourself without anyone ruling over your life. Fritz looks at me. The expression on his face is so gloomy it makes my heart sink. Yes, and even that terrifies me. Oops. Because who even am I, Wagon? Brother, I'm figuring that out myself. When I do not answer immediately, Fritz leans forward and grabs my hands. Do you know who I really am, Wagon? Do you know what sort of person I am beneath all these expectations? I am a selfish fool. Huh? Selfish? I thought... So confused, man. For a long moment, the two of us just stare at each other. Fritz's expression is carefully blank, as if to conceal his emotions. May I ask you a question, then? You have to promise me to answer truthfully. I promise. He hesitates, but only for a few seconds. Duh! I have never wanted to answer a question less in my fucking life. Because the game, to get the best ending, they want us to answer yes. And I get it. I understand why. But that doesn't mean I have to fucking like it, huh? What? The minute Fritz mentions the name, the present falls away from me. Slay! Take us back! Can't make I don't remember his voice, and I will not be remembering. Can't make something from nothing. Some part of your precious Fritz became me, princess. There was already something dark and twisted in his soul. The curse just brought it to life, and now here I am. I guess his emotions about you are too strong. He's certainly talking a lot. It's rubbed off on me, and now I'm stuck caring about you too. Stupid. We both know who you'll choose when the time comes. Yeah, because he didn't assault me. So, not a hard decision. Back then, I did not want Varg to exist, because if he did, he would drive away Fritz. The small, dark part of Fritz would overwhelm everything else that he was. That is what scared me most about Varg. Wagon? Can't believe I have to fucking say I loved him. That's nasty, man! Don't make me say shit like that. That's disgusting. Fritz looks at me in surprise. But you always said... I put my fingers to his lips. I did not love Varg for himself, but because he was a part of you. Fritz stares at me, obviously puzzled. I remember when Mithras told me that Varg was slowly taking over your mind. I remember how terrified I was. Do you know why? Fritz says nothing, only looks at me mournfully. Because even though Varg was a part of you, I did not want him to take over your conscience. When Varg disappeared, I knew he would go back to you. But if you had disappeared, Fritz, Varg would have only ever been a distorted fraction of what you were. He was never meant to exist on his own. But still, Varg was a part of you, and I loved him for that. Mid. Fritz's expression crumples as he pulls away from me. Wagon! Though I know you are far more complex than just that single facade, I accept that part of you. That's why you asked, isn't it? Fritz smiles at me. It is half-hearted, but it is still better than his earlier hesitance. Thank you, Wagon! He slides off the couch and turns to face me. I apologize for going off on a tangent. I get the impression that the tangent has yet to be adequately explored. Okay, dialogue, so true. Anyway, with that, you know a little bit more about my worries. I didn't plan on saying anything to you until I had come up with a more concrete plan, but... A concrete plan? Yes, a concrete plan for the future. I want to find something else I can be passionate about. Because outside of who and what I've been for the past so many years, I haven't had a lot of time to explore much else about myself. We should get this man a bakery. Bitches love bakeries. He is bitches. Let's go ahead and get him in the bakery. He would love that. Fritz is always so busy with his duties, he's never prioritized his own hobbies. Come to think of it, what does Fritz do in his spare time? Could we not come up with a plan together? Together? Yes, perhaps you could come up with a list, and we check off items on the list when we are able to do them. I cannot help but smile at Fritz's confusion. You can list things you want to do or see, or things that you like. Then, whenever I have time, I can help you do or see those things. You have more free time on your hands, don't you? If that is the case, then we can both find a new future for you together. In the deepest part of my heart, I cannot help but imagine Fritz sitting beside me on a throne. Yet, I am realistic enough to know that this transition would not be easy. It takes two people to make that kind of momentous decision. Besides, Fritz is finally being given the chance to live the way he wants to. I do not want to take that freedom away by forcing him into yet another role. Perhaps if we spend more time together, that sort of future will become a reality one day. What do you think? Fritz smiles at me. After a few moments, he holds out his hand. I put my hand in his and smile when he kisses the back of it. I accept your offer, beautiful wagon. Thank you. It's my pleasure. Oh, before any of that, I point at his tea and raise my eyebrows. Finish your tea, Lord Fitzgerald, otherwise it will get cold. You know just as well as I that it has been cold for a while now, but if Her Royal Highness commands it, then I shall obey. He's like a dog. He plops back down on the couch and scoots closer to me, close enough to wrap an arm around my waist. I spend the remainder of my free time at Fritz's side, wondering if there is anything I can do to help him beyond the assistance I have already offered. Chapter 4? That's what we like to fucking say. Oh. Oh. I should not have done that. It isn't as bad as I thought. But it's still pretty bad. I'll need to get band-aids on an ad break, which is only in a couple minutes. I also need to refill my water bottle. And get some chapstick. I am wanting for quite a bit. Anyway. And that is all I have to report on the incident, Your Majesty. Fritz bows to my father before joining the knights gathered at the edge of the room. Jurian stands with them, watching everything with a stony expression.
Lady Jurian, is Lord Fitzgerald's testimony satisfactory?
Yes, Your Majesty.
And your opinion, Wagon?
I agree with Jurian, Your Majesty. This morning, my father ordered Fritz and the knights that were with me during the kidnapping to provide testimony as to what happened. The kidnappers have been awaiting their sentence in jail for the past few weeks. Today is the day they receive their punishment. They were already doing punishment, but sure, whatever, go off. I heard from Jurian that the trial has already been suspended multiple times on account of heated discussion between the king and counselors. The case was of special... A special? Like with an E? Is that a fucking word, man? There's no shot. But anyway, he interested them because the criminals were witches. This technicality, along with the king's own busy schedule, has forced us to postpone a trial. Father motions to the guards by the front doors. It is a silent command to bring the criminals inside. The kidnappers are silent as they enter the room and kneel in front of the throne.
You know the reason you have been brought here. You have been charged with the crime of kidnapping the crown princess. To this crime you have both pleaded guilty.
I glance between the man and the woman. The defiance I saw in their faces the day they stole me away is gone, replaced with resignation. These people kidnapped and threatened me. They blamed me for the divide between witches and humans and for the loss of magic.
Wagon?
My father is speaking to me in a low voice. I turn to him, startled. Yes, Your Majesty?
The crime was committed against you. As you are set to take my place, I would have you decide their punishment.
I turned back. Welcome back. I hope whatever you were doing you had a nice time with. While you were gone, we had to admit to loving Varg. And Varg was here in the form of a flashback briefly. And it was fucking awful. I just want to let you know. Because it was terrible. And bad. Ew. I agree. Anyway. Ew. Literally so true that she was nasty. And also I'm bleeding, but that's secondary news. I turn back to the kneeling... Oh, shit! To kneeling criminals. The woman seems to quiver in her shackles, and the man is looking up at me with eyes that glimmer with unshed tears. 2 years ago, Mother would have punished them with death. She would have insisted that lenience was weakness. But these people do not deserve death. As if reading my thoughts, Father continues on a different tangent.
According to the law, your kidnapping would be tried as a first-degree crime because you were unharmed. The typical punishment is 30 years prison time, though you can certainly argue for longer.
I shake my head. No, I am unharmed. There is no need to press any further charges.
In that case, I will allow you to decide if the sentence is ample.
Let me go ahead and take a little look. What the hell? Happy 905, everybody. I'm supposed to sentence them to 30 years, which feels wrong to me. Ugh, chapter 4 is not hitting, man. I'm gonna look at it again. Damn. That's crazy. Anyway, happy 9 to 5 to you as well. Thank you. I appreciate it. I have to run in at 30 years. I know. It wasn't even that bad. I'm just anti-jail, I think. I don't know. I don't know. 15 years is a lot of jail time, man. That's a long time. So I think 15 years would be good enough. Anyway, I have to run an ad, refill my water bottle, get chapstick, and get a Band-Aid and pee. So I will be right back. Hopefully I can get all of that done in 3 minutes. I will return shortly. Everybody sit tight during the ad. Okay, I'm back now. I successfully did all of my tasks in the 3 minutes, so shout out. As you are equal to every citizen in the kingdom, I will not shorten or lengthen your sentence. You will receive the standard punishment. I'm confident in this decision. I could have chosen to lengthen their sentence, but to do so would only garner more hostility. I do not want to rule with fear. I want to rule with fairness. But you could also have shortened it. Out of the corner of my eyes, I can see Father smiling at me. The smile does not reach his eyes, but the look fills me with relief regardless.
Be thankful the Crown Princess did not extend your sentence. Even if it was committed in desperation, your crime is still malicious.
Thank you, Your Highness. I notice the man is bowing to me. The woman does the same. Eventually, the two of them are led from the room. I glance at Fritz, who splashes a subtle smile in my direction when he catches my eye. Father clears his throat.
Now, I feel as if the divide these kidnappers mentioned should be addressed.
I've already given many speeches in an effort to bring the citizens of Angel together. Now I realize that words are not enough. Action is necessary. When I suggest this to my father, he asks what I recommend. If I'm being honest, I am not sure yet. Yet I know that words are not enough. They will not bridge this so-called divide. I would like to gather information first. Then I will speak about what happened here today, and I press a hand to my forehead and sigh. I'll find some way to resolve this problem.
Wagon, remember that this is not your problem alone to solve.
Fritz nods in agreement. Even Jurian corks her lips when I glance in her direction. I know. Jurian and the knights are soon excused from the throne room. I am about to exit when Fritz when Father calls to us.
I have something to discuss with Lord Fitzgerald. It shouldn't take long.
Fritz smiles. I'll be waiting for you at the usual place, Wagon. Oh, and he places a hand on my shoulder and squeezes. I'm relieved you didn't shorten their time, Wagon. I look at Fritz in surprise. Why would I have shown them any favor? I thought maybe you would shorten their sentences because you wanted to curry favor with the witches. I'm glad you didn't. I thought Fritz was the most soft-hearted person I knew, yet in light of the recent confessions I'm just fucking... No way, just kill yourself. He's so bad now. Like Fritz in the first game was a huge sweetheart. Like, without Varg, he was pinch his cheeks cutie, you know? Like, there was this one scene where I was a little bit charmed. I recall, being like, oh, damn, Fritz, you made that? You know, like, there was a genuine moment of charm for me, which is rare because this game is dog shit. The first one and the second one worse. But in the first one, I remember there being a moment where I actually genuinely liked Fritz, and it was like a good, sweet, romantic moment or whatever that wasn't like super forced or awkward or whatever. But then they fucking ruin it by making him a pig! Anyway. Yeah, in light of the recent confessions he has made, I am beginning to see he is a lot more complex than that. And worse. But still, why does he care so much? And if I had? Fritz looks away, a forlorn look in his eyes. It would have been like what happened with my mother. You have to go talk to the king. Can we fucking talk about this in a minute, please? What? He shakes his head. I'll tell you about it some other time. The short story is that when the criminal who killed her was tried, the verdict was flawed. A flawed verdict. Anyway, I have something to discuss with His Majesty. He steps away and turns his attention back to my father. I glance curiously between my father and Fritz, but neither reveals the topic of their conversation. Is this something Fritz does not want to tell me? I brush away my worry with a nod, then swiftly turn and head out of the dining hall. This is the throne room. Oh my god. $11. $11. I decide to head to town with 3 knight escorts. I resolve to be protective in my time off and look for people who can help me decide what to do about the divide between witches and humans. Specifically, I look for Waltz. Hopefully he doesn't turn to the right. That would be terrible for everyone involved. I would have gone to the Marchant to look for him, but now with the tavern closed, that is impossible. When Delora and Parfait passed away, oh my god, they're getting rid of the fucking Marchant. This arc sucks shit. Doesn't burn it. It doesn't need to be here. This is awful. People who like Fritz are crazy, because I know there's like at least 4 fans of this game. Come on! Yeah! Yo! Bring the Marchant back! This is stupid! I miss Magic. I miss the Marchant. I miss Delora. Parfait can go. I don't really mind. Because she dies in like 4 out of 5 arcs. No. She dies in 3 out of 5 arcs. Which is more than half. So, she's fine. She can go. Like, yeah. And her personality was kind of mid, and she just kind of stood there. So she's whatever. But anyway. There was no, when Delora and Parfait passed away, there was no one left to watch over the Marchant. Waltz and the other boarders have since moved out. Waltz now lives on the outskirts of Angel, but I am certain he comes to town around this time to perform. There's no doubt in my mind that Waltz will be able to tell me more about the recent treatment of witches. Who, if you could just say, I'm not a witch, it doesn't seem to matter. There's no, like, physical giveaway that someone's a witch or not. Waltz had to tell everybody that he was a witch. So why does the discrimination matter? It shouldn't exist unless it was already like obvious that they were a witch prior. But even then, no one has magic anymore. What the fuck is going on? God is dead. Nothing is real. Anyway, I searched the whole town square for Waltz, but he is nowhere to be found. Usually he is in this area performing or playing with the children, yet there is no sign of him here today. This one blows. Yeah, it does. This sucks. I continue to look for... Oh my god. Oh, they just cut closer. Wait, what the hell? Okay, sorry. If you notice that there's two like town scenes, right? So if you look in the background, I can't show you my cursor because I've turned it off, but the most distant building, the tall tower in the back here, and then the building right in front of it. We walk forward from here, and there we are. This building right here is that first building blocking the alleyway, and then here's the tall tower. I didn't realize that they were so closely connected until now, when we were almost done with the game. I can't even imagine how many hours deep. I just think that's interesting, because I was about to bitch about them reusing an asset, but they reused an asset in a way that makes sense, so it's fine. Anyway, I continued to look for Waltz over the next hour, occasionally stopping to speak with other townsfolk to ask if there have been any disturbances in the area. Most seemed confused by the question. Was what the witches were saying not true after all? I am still searching when someone calls my name, pulling me from my thoughts. Princess! Princess Wagon! I turn on my heels and see a familiar man striding toward me with a bright smile on his face. A young woman walks beside him, smiling nervously. I would never... Oh, come on! We got so close to getting... being set free from Chevalier. Whatever.
Long time no see, Princess. I am grateful to Lady Luck for giving me the opportunity to see you today.
Rumble, I miss you. I miss Anise, but not Rumble. Much. Oh god. Okay. Fritz's arcs always are so complicated. Anyway, Anise raises her head and smiles. It's good to see you again, Your Highness. Likewise. How's work at the clinic? 2 years ago, when the fairy tale curses were broken, Chevalier regained his memories and returned to work as a doctor. Anise, who had always been interested in learning more about medicine, decided to stay on with him as his assistant. It's been months since I've seen either of them. You don't visit? Bitch. Chevalier glances at Anise, a mischievous smile on his face. Anise looks away, flustered.
Won't you tell the princess the good news, Anise?
Anise fiddles her thumbs, her expression turning sheepish.
Well, we've decided to open a pharmacy space in the clinic space.
A pharmacy?
Anise's specialty has always been herbs and antidotes. We've decided that opening a pharmacy is the best way to showcase her talents.
Rather than just a clinic, we'll also have a pharmacy set up so townsfolk can purchase natural remedies. It should be less expensive than the medicine most apothecaries sell.
That sounds like a great idea.
Doesn't it? Anise will do just splendidly.
I hope so.
Chevalier looks at her and raises an eyebrow.
You should tell her about that other thing too, Anise.
Much to my surprise, Anise flushes.
It's, not really important.
Nonsense! Being in love is always important news.
I stare between the two of them as Anise hides her face in her hands. What's this about love? What relevance does this have to me and my arc? But whatever.
Anise met a very striking man a few weeks back. He came to my clinic to ask for advice, you see. In the end, he spoke with Anise for hours on end about various herbs.
Anise sighs as she removes her hands from her face.
He happened to be the son of a visiting apothecary. He was a pleasant man.
Ha! You don't have to be so shy for the princess, Anise. Tell her about how much you liked his smile, or about how nice he was when he treated you to dinner.
Chevalier! I cannot help but smile at Anise's embarrassment. Anise always did so much for others back when the margin was open. She deserves to be spoiled as well. I'm happy for you, Anise.
Thank you, Your Highness.
I paused to consider, as Anise, I thought they were going to be in love for a second. I was like, that doesn't make any sense, but whatever. I paused to consider as Anise and Chevalier once again exchange looks. She turns away with a sigh when Chevalier winks at her. I wonder if maybe Chevalier can tell me about the witches. Sure. Yeah, sure. Sure. He is a trustworthy source on witches. Chevalier, have you seen any witches in your clinic recently? The good mood fades abruptly.
I have. Many of them show up at my door saying they've been refused treatment at other clinics. One woman who was so sickly she was on the verge of collapse told me she had been run out of some other place because someone was certain they'd seen her cast a fairy tale curse before.
There was also another witch, a man who had burns on him. He came asking for some kind of ointment.
Burns? Chevalier nods.
It was a revenge crime.
I think you mean a fucking hate crime.
A man came into his potion shop and knocked everything he owned to the ground, causing an explosion.
But why?
According to the witch, the man said something about magic no longer having any place in shell.
Yeah. They said discrimination. So sad. That's so fucking funny. The more Chevalier speaks about the incidents, the more my stomach churns. Many of these crimes were mentioned by the counselors, but no one mentioned specifically that they'd been done against witches. I cannot excuse this discrimination.
I'm sorry, Princess.
Sorry? Anise smiles at me sadly.
We didn't mean to add to your stress.
You do not need to apologize. I came seeking this information because I want to help. Perhaps I can discuss some sort of safety measures with Jurian. Or maybe I should address the crimes in front of all the townsfolk.
Humans are sad creatures, aren't they? They fear things they don't understand and choose to despise them rather than open their minds. But still,
He smiles.
I've had various volunteers come in to help me tend to the wishes. Just as there is cruelty in the world, there is great goodness. It just so happens that violence always speaks the loudest.
Then I have no choice but to speak louder than that violence. I nod at both of them. Thank you for your help.
Of course. We're glad that we could help, Princess.
Yes, it's always a pleasure. If you need anything, you are more than welcome at the clinic. Rest assured, I will always make time for you.
I will try my best to visit when I can. My talk with Chevalier has answered many of my questions, and I'm relieved for it. It seems I do not need to search for Waltz after all. Life is not worth living. But we are saved from his fuck-ass side profile, so all is well. Shortly after the two excuse themselves, I head back to the palace with my guard formed around me. I'll pause, thank you. Oh my god. No sooner have I returned when I am met by another familiar face. Emmeline is running toward me with a package in her hands. Her smile is exuberant.
I had a feeling you'd be back soon, Wagon.
Emmeline, were you waiting for me?
I was. I wanted to be the one to deliver this to you.
Emmeline holds the package out to me. What is this? I take the parcel from her hands and eye it curiously.
You won't know until you open it.
I raise my eyebrows. It must be important if she came to meet me at the palace gates. I do as Emmeline insists, and am surprised by when I behold what is inside.
A fucking item! Let's go item!
A mask? Oh no! Boo! Okay, it just clicked for me what this, like, you can't fucking do a masquerade ball when Varg was the guy wearing the fucking mask in the last game. That's so dumb and stupid, and now I have to kill myself. God, fuck. Emily clasps her hands together. For the upcoming ball. The upcoming ball is a masquerade? When did this happen? If, honest to God, dude, if fucking Fritz shows up in Varg getup, I have to die. Emmeline seems to notice my confusion. Oh, buddy, my brother. You cannot be doing that. You can.
It's Lord Fitzgerald's idea. He brought it up to Mother a few days ago. He said that masks would make things more mysterious. I can kill myself.
I run my hands over the carefully crafted mask. Delicate is later on in the sentence, and shake my head in wonder. It is a delicate mask, and I cannot help but marvel at the intricacy of its design.
What do you think? It's a lovely idea, isn't it?
It is. Interesting. I wonder why Fritz wanted to alter the theme of the celebration, and why he chose masks. Fucking throw a guess out there, brother. Not hard to think. Looking at the mask makes me remember the masked man from 2 years ago. The man whose cocky smile I could always read beneath his mask. Because his smile was visible. Not hard to read. Varg. Fritz. Their personalities were like night and day, and yet they are the same person. That is why, even if Varg was somewhat overwhelming, I loved him regardless. How could I not when he was a part of Fritz? Besides, Varg did a great many things for me back then too. Whether of his own volition or not, he was still my knight. He also assaulted you and did bad things, so don't think I fucking forgot, cause I remembered. Except instead of shining armor, he wore a masquerade mask and an ominous-looking cloak.
Wagon!
Emmeline laughs when I startle.
Rad was right. I do just need to say your name loud enough.
I was just appreciating the mask. Did you buy this for me? Emmeline shakes her head.
No, it's from Lord Fitzgerald.
Fritz bought this mask for me? I clear my throat and carefully set the mask back in its package. Do you know where Fritz is now, Emmeline?
I can't say that I do. Sorry, Wagon.
He said that he would be waiting for us in our usual place, so perhaps no, dumbass. It's the fucking forest, I thought. The fact that she doesn't know where the usual place is but agreed to meet there anyway is so frustrating. If you didn't know, say, hold on, man, what the fuck are you talking about, usual place? Like, you can... Whatever. He said he would be waiting for us in our usual place, so perhaps he's in my room? The two of us always meet there before we begin our practices. It is no worry, I will find him on my own. I tuck the package beneath my arm. Thank you for delivering the mask.
Oh, it's no problem. I just wanted to be the first to see the wonder on your face.
I look at her, something curious. What of your mask? Have you already purchased one?
Yes, earlier today.
She flushes.
I found a special mask from Brigantia and purchased it on a whim.
Oh, Brigantian masks. Aren't Brigantian masks especially flamboyant? That does not seem your style, unless... I raise an eyebrow. Are you trying to impress someone?
Maybe I am. It just so happens that Brigantian royalty will be joining us for the celebration, since Prince Lance is attending.
Her words fade as she looks at me, embarrassed. It has been less than a few months since the Brigantian nobles came to visit our palace. Claude and his brother Lance have been sent here on many occasions as emissaries to help remedy our relations with Brigantia, which I didn't reel. We're in dire straits, but whatever. I noticed the way Emmeline looked at Lance even back then. I have always suspected she fancied him.
What?
I wish you the best of luck, Emmeline. I'm sure you will capture his heart. I grin as I pass a rosy-cheeked Emmeline. See, if you're gonna fucking do gay shit like a masquerade ball, I'm obsessed with the idea of a masquerade ball. Like, do not fucking get it twisted. I am a slut for a good fancy party. And a masquerade ball is the fanciest of parties, dude. And they've got like the mystery element of it. I just like the mask. I'm a mask head, like, don't get me wrong. But the fact that they're doing a fucking masquerade ball and they've given us the masquerade mask and so true, love a good ball. If I could go to one, I would. But if they're gonna like describe the masks and the fact that we're supposed to be wearing them, honestly, dude, if they don't, I don't know, it feels like the opportunity for a costume change, like during daily activities or whatever, having all the characters wear their regular clothes and be the same character sprite that they always are is fine. But if you're gonna have like a special event where they're supposed to wear something special, can you please let me see it? It's a visual novel, for crying out loud! I'm not looking at anything! It's the same shit as it always is! But with maybe rain this time! God! I'm just so upset! I just want to look! God. Anyway, the first thing I notice upon my return is that Fritz is seated beside my window. The minute I step inside, he looks up at me. He eyes the mask with a smile. So, Emmeline delivered the mask to you. What do you think? I think it's beautiful. And mysterious? Fritz laughs. The sound of it relieves my heart. You say it like you're not so sure. Because I'm not. I've never attended a masquerade before. I step forward and raise my eyebrows at him. I heard from Emmeline that it is you who suggested this. May I ask why? I'm sorry, Raggan. It was for an entirely selfish reason. I wanted to give you a mask, and I wanted to see you wear it. I had a lot of fun designing it for you. Okay, that's kind of nice. Thank you. I guess. Fritz, you designed this mask? I did. I wanted to do something special for you. And also, he leans forward, eyes glinting with mischief. In a masquerade. Fucking sick and tired of this arc. I hope we get done today. In a masquerade, one can show off a completely different part of themselves. It's like being a masked performer in a theater show. Me too, man. I was thinking it so. I was like, well, since we did Cinderella Phenomenon today, okay, because, like, listen, if we play Cinderella Phenomenon today, and then tomorrow, and then Friday also, first of all, we are not going to have enough game to fucking cover all of Friday. We might have, depending on how quickly we can get Fritz finished today, if we can. I think we're on chapter 4 right now. Hold on, let me look. And there's 5 chapters, and then chapter 6 is fucking, okay, we are on chapter 4 right now. We are a third of the way done with chapter 4. So we'll probably get done with chapter 4 at the very least. But if we play tomorrow also, and then Friday as well, we're gonna finish really fucking fast on Friday. So, yeah, I just don't know. But if we play all 3 days, that'll be 3 straight streams of Cinderella Phenomenon. I really did try to draw today. Well, no, I didn't. I'm a fucking liar. My ass didn't try to draw at all. I tried to do art fight, is what I tried to do. And oh no, it didn't work. Whatever. Let's say that I tried to make me feel better. And move on. Point is that either we need to pick a new game by Friday, or we need to slow the fuck down and do something else tomorrow. But at the same time, if we finish this week, then we can have a new game picked up by next week. It's only Monday. What a long week, man. Anyway, I'll focus now. He leans back and laughs. Yeah, because then we can just start something new next week and have it be fresh. Or whatever. So you're probably right. I just have to fucking pick something and I don't know what to pick. He leans back and laughs. I thought it would be nice to be someone else for a change. Someone else? You'll see. It's fucking far. He stands and crosses his arms. Before we head out to our practice, you remember earlier in the throne. You already did that. Oh no, dude. You can't be talking like that, White Fitzgerald. That one was a fun one for me. And he's not even white. He's like the least white character in the game. Isn't that crazy? He's like a dusty brown. Like, oh god. Anyway. He's got white hair? It's a kind of guess. Anyway. You remember earlier in the throne room? I mentioned a trial? He is dusty brown. I don't know, I think it's like purpley. I don't know. It's not very well rendered skin, but none of the skin is really well rendered, in my opinion. The trial that involved his mother. Yes, I remember. You said you would tell me more about the incident when you were feeling up to it. Well, he looks at me a little uncertainly. I've been thinking about it since this morning, so I'd like to share the story with you now if you don't mind. I actually do mind. I'm afraid it's a dreary tale, though, so the music will change. Sounds good. No, I'm just kidding. It probably won't. But maybe it will. You know that I'm used to those sorts of stories by now, Fritz. 2 years ago, my life was a nightmare. But Fritz oh god, that had a violently remembered, hope it does. So true. Violently remembered how dog shit the rest of his arc was. Wow, that shit was bad. Okay, anyway. But Fritz shouldered those miseries with me. He tried to protect me from them. The least I can do is try to understand his own sadness. I will listen regardless, Fritz, so please tell me what happened. Great news about that music, man. I told you before I lost my mother when I was very young, right? I was only 3 years old. Yeah! That means this was before I was even born, before Mother's reign. I put a hand up to my pocket where I keep Fritz's knife, his mother's knife. Before he told me that she'd had this knife on the day, if she had this knife on the day she was killed, things would have been different. Have I ever told you that my mother was a teacher, Wagon? I look at him wide-eyed. No, you have not. She was a language teacher. The reason I grew up learning bits of other languages. Dude, she died when you were fucking 3, dude. That's what you said, right? Sure, you can fucking grow up learning other languages at 3. You can, right? You can know other languages at 3. However, it's fucking crazy to think that a 3-year-old would, like, remember that much about... It's been 20 years. My grandma died when I was, like, 6. I don't remember anything about her. Not a lick, man. I guess if it's your mom, it's different, but like, whatever. Shout out Doris! In heaven for sure, or whatever people do when they die. Anyway, moving on. Even after she died, I read her lesson plans. Can 3-year-olds read? Can 3-year-olds fucking read? Lesson plans? No, they can't. You don't fucking think so. I didn't think they could read. So, you've lost me again, brother. I mean, okay, maybe once he learned to read. But, like, why would you keep the lesson plans? But whatever. Then, even after she died, I read her lesson plans because I thought they would make me feel closer to her. I cannot help but recall the word that Fritz taught me before, the one he said was from an ancient language. Aduva. Oh, God. Did his mother teach him that word, or did he learn it after she died? Anyway, I digress. My mother was a language teacher who took on many students. Nobles, commoners, children. She would teach anyone who had the motivation. My father always told me she loved what she did. She was happy. We all were. For 3 years. He leans against the wall with a sigh. Despite the sunlight blanketing the room, the air feels dreary, heavy. Then she took on the student that would eventually kill her. My father says he was a Brigantian nobleman who wanted to learn the Cindelian language. ABC! Hi, ABC. Most likely it was because he had business connections within Cindel. Third Kingdom alert. That does not seem like such a strange request. Cindel is Hi, ABC. So true. Cindel is a neighboring kingdom, after all. It makes sense that he would have connections there. Anyway, mother used to. Oh wait, that was that. Oh, that does not seem like such a strange request. Cinderella is a neighboring kingdom. After all, it makes sense that you would have connections there. Anyway, mother used to visit this man every other day. He paid my mother. No pictures confused the shit out of me. He paid my mother more than necessary, and he was a fast-learning student. But then one day, word of scandal began to spread around Angel. Word was the nobleman was involved in some illegal trade with Sicilian businessmen. My mother would confirm those suspicions. She found proof of the illegal trade deals in the nobleman's own letters. Apparently, the letters had gotten mixed into my mother's lessons plans by accident. They were written in a language only she understood. Shortly after my mother notified the king, the nobleman mysteriously disappeared. The day after, my mother was found murdered in an alley. The knife in her chest had been brought that day by a young man no one recognized. It turned out he was a hired killer. Cool, thanks for the fucking fade out. I stare at Fritz in shock. You believe that the nobleman sent a killer after your mother because she spread a rumor about him? It was the truth, not a rumor. A truth that soiled his reputation. Fritz's eyes are stormy, his mouth set in a tight line. At first I think he is glaring at me, and then I realize he's glaring through me, his anger reserved for a memory. To talk for like 3 minutes. I get that it was because it was a really long story he was telling because it was daytime before we faded to black, and now it's nighttime. The killer was brought to the palace to be tried. He confessed that he was only a hired hand, but nothing came of questioning him about his employer. Fritz sighs. The hired killer never had any physical contact with the nobleman who hired him. My father suggested torture as a means of getting information out of the murderer, but the king refused. The killer was sentenced to lifetime in prison, but the nobleman who paid him was never found. So he was never tried in court. Though my father tried to link the nobleman to the murder, King Gennaro argued there was no conclusive evidence that he had hired the killer. It was all circumstantial evidence. My father must have investigated further. There is no way he would let such a crime go unpunished. Yes, the investigation was extensive, but nothing conclusive was found. Though my father tried to keep the investigation running, the king eventually disbanded the effort, claiming they were only hitting dead ends. The look on Fritz's face is so mournful that I cannot help reaching for his hand. All I want is to anchor him in the present, to get him away from his memories. I squeeze his hand, and Fritz turns to me with a grimace. After that, nothing happened for a while. I was too young to understand where my mother had gone. My father became distant. I distinctly remember him disappearing for long stretches of time. He was gone longer than he had ever been before, and I had almost always had someone else in the manor with me. His expression flatlines. Then one day he came home covered in blood. Whoa! And he told me that justice had been served. I stare at him. He killed the nobleman? I didn't realize it until much later, but yes, he made him confess and then killed the nobleman himself. My father punished the nobleman where the law had not, and yet, Fritz shakes his head, I have never felt closure. My father hated that the king was so lackadaisical about the investigation. What? Your dad free? Yeah, he's like loose for some reason. Like, we didn't he got banished for some reason, and he's not in jail right now, so that's fucking crazy. But anyway, he believed that the nobleman was a pardon on account of his status. From then on, my father held a grudge against the king. Lackadaisical. After my mother died, he became stricter, tougher. He began to doubt everyone and everything, and he dealt out justice with an iron fist. He didn't hate the king then. He still thought he was noble. He still believed in the honor of knights. He didn't become truly incorrigible until after the war, when Hilda was locked in the Tenebrarum. Before that, he was jaded, but kind. After Hilda, though, he saw what ruling with an iron fist could do to keep people in line. Fritz crosses his arms and groans. Back then, I always wanted to believe in the goodness of people, but now I understand where my father was coming from. The strong walk over the weak. His shoulders sag. That is what I realized when my father used me 2 years ago. His gaze settles on me again, quiet and forlorn. I believe in fair trials. I believe that people deserve retribution for the crimes they commit. This crime was not murder, but... You were stolen, Wagon! They had a knife to your throat! Sometimes I still think about what I would be if I lost you, Wagon. I wonder if I would come to hate the world just like my father did. He goes silent as he slumps in his chair. Perhaps the reason Fritz was so impacted by that trial was because he believed I should have been harder on someone who could have taken my life. Well, there you have it, the story of my mother's death. I am too young to remember it myself, but I've put the pieces together over the years. The crime happened 10 minutes ago. This is so dumb, man. Darman-ass story. So you see, that is how my mother died. He looks at me expectantly. What do you think? What the fuck am I supposed to think? Sorry your mom died. What else do you want from me, brother? What do I think? About the verdict. Well, would you have done anything differently from the king? Would you have let the nobleman go so easily? Would you have shown the same lenience? Okay, starting to see why. Yes? What the fuck? Really? Okay. I guess I'll say yes, but this feels weird. This entire arc has been nothing but, like, bad answers from me. Like, saying that yes, we like Varg, fine. That one they kind of explained away by being like, well, obviously they fucking, she needs to love Varg as well because it's a piece of Fritz at current. So if she says no, it'd be like not liking the evil dark part of him. So, and then sentencing them to 30 years was fucking awful. I didn't want to do that at all. They didn't really do anything that bad, in my opinion. They obviously weren't going to hurt me. They were going to sell me off for ransom. That's what you do when you're desperate. We need to go get to the bottom of the fucking problem. Not... I don't know. Leniency is always a good thing. As a judge, you don't have to give someone the harshest possible sentence every time. I've never really, like, I was watching crime shit all the time or whatever for a while. 30 is crazy. But, like, I was watching crime stuff or whatever, and there was a couple of videos that I saw of, like, judges giving harsher sentences just because they don't like you. They have that kind of power. Isn't that a fucking crazy amount of power to have? I can't even imagine having to decide like, the law is a range. Like, the judges can do whatever the fuck they want. They don't have to, like, they obviously have maximums, but they can give you the maximum by default. If the crime was like a lower end crime or whatever, they can sentence you to the lower end of the range, but they can choose to sentence you to the higher end of the range just because they think you're a fucking asshole or something. And that's fucking crazy to me. I hate that shit. The justice system is super weird to me. I'm fascinated by it, but also disgusted inherently. It's a complicated life I lead. But anyway, back to Cinderella phenomenon, and no more analysis of the justice system. I can tell by the way his expression falls that my answer takes him by surprise. As much as I want to say no, I also know that there is a reason the court has specific procedures for doing things. I think the same logic applies to other criminals too. Even if we have suspicions, we cannot act on things that have not been proven. We can only judge what we see and what we witness, not what we assume. Alcester ought to have brought the nobleman's confession to court and meted out justice that way, no matter the feelings he had for the king. I try to measure Fritz's reaction, but he looks only thoughtful. I'm sorry, Fritz. No, don't be. He smiles at me gently. Above all else, I believe it's most important for a trial to be fair. You're far more knowledgeable when it comes to things like this. Besides, it makes sense for a ruler to look at things objectively. Hearing your rationale gives me hope that justice is still feasible within the boundaries of all these rules. He shakes his head, the soft smile never leaving his face. What's in the past stays in the past. I think hearing your opinion makes me feel a little better. It's funny, my intention was to tell you more about my mother, but in the end I learned something about myself too. You really are a wonder, Wagon. Fritz pulls me to my feet and hugs and kisses my forehead. Then abruptly he pulls me into a hug. Fritz? Thank you, Wagon, for hearing me out. I rest my head on his shoulder. You never need to thank me, Fritz. I want you to be open with me. I pull away so that I can plant a quick kiss on his lips. Now, shall we continue this conversation during our lesson? Fritz smiles at me. He places a hand on my back as we walk toward the door. Yes, let's. We fucking? No, we're leaving. Thank God. We exit the stifling room and walk out into the breezy corridor. Thank God we don't have to look at another fucking defense lesson. That shit was stupid. Anyway, the rest of the week passes by in a blur of meetings. I don't have any Kleenex, but I need to blow my nose so fucking bad. But I only have 10 minutes left, so I'm not going to. But oh my god, just so you know, I feel like death. Anyway, the rest of the week passes by in a blur of meetings, classes, and practices. When I'm not busy practicing with Fritz the Forest, he takes me to town. There, the two of us go searching for evidence of discrimination against witches. Ever since... It's okay, but oh my god. Ever since I spoke with Chevalier, I've been unable to rest. Fritz has agreed to help me gather information, and unsurprisingly, he is able to compile more evidence than me. He may no longer be a knight, but he is still incredibly good at work that requires subtlety or stealth. By the end of the week, the two of us have compiled a long list to present to the counselors upon our next meeting. I am grateful that the week has come to a close until I realize belatedly that the masquerade my family has been preparing for is tonight. Fritz makes me promise that I will attend before departing to discuss some important matter with my before parting to discuss some important matter with my father. I kind of thought I had to be there since I'm the fucking princess, but whatever, I'm not gonna complain too much. Oh, what the hell? We're doing it right now? The time for the masquerade comes soon. What the hell? There's another chapter after this. What the fuck are you going? Huh? What the hell's gonna be the last? What's the last chapter gonna be about, if not the ball? My mind's fucking boggled. Anyway, the time for the masquerade comes sooner rather than later. It is not long before darkness cloaks the hallways and guests begin to pile in. I exit my room and make my way toward the throne room. The mask on my face feels heavy. Even though it is perfectly suited to my face, no one has seen me wearing it yet, not even Emmeline.
We get to see!
Let's fucking go! Wow! Let's go! Just as I had hoped. Wow! Hope for the future. That's how I feel right now. I hope it does not look too ostentatious. I put a hand to one of the dress's inner pockets. Tucked inside is Fritz's knife. It is a strange good luck charm, but it makes me feel more confident as I walk into the throne room. During a regular-ass party. Sure, do whatever. The first thing I notice upon entering the throne room is that everyone is masked. Most of the women are wearing beautifully designed gowns that shimmer with the dark colors of nighttime. The men don black coats and vests and wear bright smiles that offset their dark masks. Some of the ladies smile and laugh behind feathered fans. I take in the sight, wondering at the atmosphere of mystique. I'm startled when the announcer beside the door appears and with a bow calls my full name and title and name to the gathered crowd. What's the fucking evil music doing on? I search the faces of everyone gathered, but the guests' expressions are hidden behind their fans. My heart tightens at the sight. Why am I so nervous? I begin to make my way down the stairs, offering words of greeting to all those who approach me. I cannot help noticing the nobles are more brazen on this night. Ladies titter and grin behind their fans, and more than a few men wink at me. It's like they are different people. I'm still meandering through. I don't know why they would be. It's still pretty obvious who you are, but whatever. I'm still meandering through the crowd and searching for familiar faces when I notice a man in attire similar to Fritz's. Fritz? The man turns, but it is not Fritz, only some masked nobleman. I quell the disappointment inside of me and turn around to begin my search anew. Looking for someone, princess? I nearly stumble right into the man behind me. I know it's Fritz, but behind me, and I have to take a few steps back to put some distance between us. Please don't look like Varg. Please don't look like Varg. Please don't look. I look up and freeze when I see his mask. Oh, that's it?
Both his eyes and his mask are so familiar I cannot help but be shocked. His face, complete with his cocky grin, gives me a strange sense of deja vu. I cannot speak. I only stare at him dumbfounded. It's been a while. The look on his face and the mask, it is Varg's face. But no, it cannot be. Varg does not exist anymore, not as his own person. It has only been a few hours. Fritz's eyes twinkle with mirth. Are we doing a Varg thing right now? I just can't. I can't take it seriously. Varg has died. Fuck you. Sarcastic as always, I see. He takes a step forward. I'll have you know I plan on going by a Oh, God. Please be normal for like 3 fucking seconds, man. Come on, brother. I'm so good, dude. I am not confused. I'm just upset. I'm just classic upset. Cause, yuck, dude. I'll have you know I plan on going by a different name tonight. Oh? Just as I feared. Completely anticipated and yet. Ew, I agree. Ew, 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 ew. So true. He's so nasty. Ugh. Tonight you may call me Varg. I stare at him, nonplussed. Fucking Christ. I hate July. God damn it. Anyway, there's fireworks in the background. I don't know if you heard it, but it scared the shit out of me. He holds out his hand. Also, new outfit! Kind of. Sort of. They just put God, it wasn't just me. They just put a cape on him. But that's okay. I accept this. I love new outfit. I am pro new outfit every time it happens. He holds out a hand. The grin never leaves his face. What do you say to just one dance, princess? Come on, I don't bite. I look at Fritz quizzically. What does he hope to accomplish with this change in character? He always looks so pained when he remembers the things he did as Varg. So, why? What, cat? Got your tongue? I want to kill him, but I have to play along. What? Oh, shit. Wrong person. What? No wolf puns? You've lost your touch. Oh? He takes a step toward me, and though I cannot read his eyebrows, it is impossible to miss the smirk on his lips. I may be a bit out of practice, but I think I'm better at wordplay than a certain dumbstruck princess. The difference between us is that I know how to speak without demeaning a person. I expected more flamboyance from you, Varg. Ugh. Fritz shrugs. Sorry to disappoint, princess. Next time I'll make sure to dress in bright, gaudy colors just for you. He presses a kiss to the back of my hand. Then, much to my surprise, he just likes role-playing. That's all this fucking is. He's just a horny bastard who likes to fucking role-play. He's so annoying. I can't believe this is what his character has boiled down to, is a little freak who's into roleplay. Fuck, man. This is the worst. Then, much to my surprise, he pulls me toward him with a grin. Shall we dance? I'll fucking pass, actually. Oh, what the hell? Okay, chapter 5. This is what I thought would happen? To be honest with you... Shut the fuck up. I have to save. Piss off. Yes. Okay, good night. So true. Good night, Varg. Fuck you. We will not be coming back until tomorrow, probably. Yes, I want to go back. Fuck off. I can't believe the entire last chapter for Varg, I mean Fritz, sorry, Lamau, is gonna be fucking, it's gonna be the masquerade ball, which takes I don't know. Is the game really that short? Whatever. Whatever. It's fucking fine. I don't care. I'm not upset. You're upset. Oh, shit. Okay. So, tomorrow we'll probably end up playing more. Unfortunately for everyone involved. Amazon, love her. We have to rate her, obviously. Um, I always get so excited, so we rate her very, very early on, which is always a treat. But every time I don't rate her early on, I miss her, and then I don't rate her the rest of the week, which is the worst. But anyway, so tomorrow we'll probably play more of this as a not treat for us. Well, we'll finish Varg, and then we'll be on to Waltz, who we have to see more side profile of. Which is the worst, but whatever. Um, but yeah, we'll play more of this and then we'll finish Waltz. I don't want to run around claiming we're going to finish Varg. Shit. Waltz. We'll finish Fritz. I don't think we'll finish Waltz. But we will get pretty far. We will finish Waltz on Friday. Or we could stretch stream a little bit longer to finish tomorrow. I'm not super interested in doing that because I have work the next day, but we'll see. I do have to figure out what we're going to play after Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore. This was kind of my I don't know, man. I have no idea what the fuck we're going to play. But if you have any glaring desires, please let me know. I am down for kind of whatever. Uh, I'm glad you think so. There's just so many options. Anyway, you are very welcome to stream. I'll be dropping everybody in Emma's stream. Thank you for Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore. Sorry we didn't do Art Fight. The website was shitting itself. So hopefully that will go better. Actually, you want to know what? On Friday, we'll finish up Waltz and then we'll do Art Fight. So hopefully the Art Fight website will pop back. We'll cross our fingers. That'll be the plan. That'll be the plan. I won't come up with a new game until after. We could discuss the game on Friday, but we won't play it. Okay. Godspeed out there. I love you.